Oh, a bit of a throttle. Oh, ho, ho, love it. Oh, that's so good. Thank you, internet. Oh, why are you like this? What even? Nothing. It's nothing. Nothing would be doing this except for the actual internet provider. Thanks, internet service provider. Oh, yeah. Love being under fucking 4,000 fucking kilobytes. Yeah. I. What are you doing? Who even gave you permission to give me no internet? Good God. Alright, hopefully that clears itself up. We'll see. Yes, good, okay. That's at least doing something. Kind of. Nope, not really. So, love it! Do this. That. For then. Dude, it's actually kind of insane. Whenever. Is it because I haven't streamed in a while? Can't be that. I don't know what. There's nothing else that's using bandwidth right now, I think. I saw the sub count was 737, thought of a plane reference, then thought, no, best to not. Yeah. Hey, Draco Kraken. What's up? Yeah. Uh, hmm. Well, anyway. That's alright. That's okay. Don't worry about it. I, two of them in 1 week, jeez. Yeah, you know. It's a crazy time. It's gonna get crazier. We are in times for sure. Hello, Timothy. Uh, yeah. Well, that one was in my state. Oh God. Anyway, to be fair, I've been disconnected from like much of everything. I've just kind of been doing my own things, getting caught up on. I watched so I I'm getting caught up on a couple of channels. No Rules Barred. I just started getting caught up again. Chaotic Neutral. I got caught up fully. Um, and uh, what else have I been doing? I've been actually like playing some games because you can get Steam Link on a smart TV, and it doesn't work well for like a lot of things, but it works well enough for me to play some casual games that I've been wanting to play. Um, and so I did that. Been watching Hunter x Hunter. People like that. I watched like the first arc, watched a little bit as it kind of kept going, and then went, I'm alright, I'm good. Hey, Pizza Funk. January is over, let us erase that pointless month and move on to the next. Indeed. Hello, Shin. Apologies, everybody, for the jump in quality of the stream. I am currently experiencing dipping and rising bandwidth, and I don't know why, but it'll sort itself out or it won't. So the VOD will be smooth and crisp when it comes out. If you get sick of this, as always. Oh, also, well, first off, hello and everybody. Hello and everybody. Hello and welcome everybody. Oh my God, to TableTalk discussion and discourse. I, as always, am your host Alejo, aka Great on 95. It's year 6, the start of year 6. We made it. We've been doing this 5 years for sure now. 5 years for sure. Complete. Time for 6. Time for year 6. Crazy, huh? It's insane. It reminds me, I heard someone say that Switch 2 is going to destroy Nintendo because of the Steam Deck, which is a wild take. What? Oh, yeah, no, that's wild. Hell, I was gonna get a Steam Deck, and then I found out about the link, so I was like, oh, that's free. I can just do that, and it's serviceable. So, fuck it. First of the month, time to look for hidden gems on Tubi. Hey, how's it going, Dave? Dude, that would actually, I would love to watch some shitty movies on something like Tubi, actually, now that I think about it. That would be fun. When the show gets to the giant mutant bug arc, then it gets good. I'm not gonna, it's, you know, I don't, like, it's not like it's a bad show. Like, when I was watching it, it was fine. I'm very much not a, is it, what's the genre that it is? Is it shonen, right? I forget, it's been like a hot minute. It's not one that I'm usually into. JoJo is like the exception. Anyway. Thank you, Pizza Funk. But what is it? I watched a couple of movies on my own recently. It was Unforgiven and Red Dawn. One, the old deconstruction of a western with Clint Eastwood that I thought was pretty decent. You know, I haven't watched a lot of the old western kind of movies. So I watched it and I was like, oh, this is all right. And then Red Dawn is silly. It's very silly, but it's a good time, and I would highly recommend that one. Wolverines. Now I understand the reference. People would call it shonen because of the fights. Yeah, that's what I figured. TableTalk is in its Battle Royale arc. We have to outlive all the other D&D tubers. Dude, I saw, okay, speaking of, I saw somebody else was like, oh yeah, I'm done with D&D content. I don't remember what the channel name was, but they popped up in the feed. And I was like, oh man, that sucks. Because it sucks whenever anybody, like, stops making the content they like to make. I don't know what their reasoning was. I didn't watch the video. But yeah, it was, was it Bonus Action? That's coming to my head. I think it was Bonus Action. I don't remember. We've probably covered them once or twice, but you know. I don't actually remember. But it sucks when people stop creating the content that they want to create or have to or something. There's a Japanese remake of Unforgiven that I've been trying to track down. Stars Ken Watanabe. Ooh. Cool. Okay. I would be down to watch that as well, because first off, Ken Watanabe is pretty good as an actor. But if it's kind of like Unforgiven, that'd be neat. I just wanted to bring up bugs. That's fair. Why not? You know? So I wanted to say, before I get too far into just talking about shit, Aiden will not be joining us tonight, unfortunately. But Boo will be here at some point soon. He should be getting home soon enough. So it's just going to be the two of us for the start of year 6, but that is all right. In other news, at the end of the month, we're going to have Juice on. those of you who remember Juice from like 3 years ago, from Master the Game, the channel called Master the Game. We had him on a few times and meant to have him on way more, but of course, I'm bad at scheduling. And also, I get very tired when I get home sometimes. So, like, legitimately, I don't get tired when I'm driving. It actually wakes me the fuck up, right? But I was at work, and I went through work for my whole week, and man, I was tired every day. And as soon as Friday hit, I got behind the wheel, and I'm like halfway home, and I feel it. Like I almost close my eyes quite a few times, and I'm like zoning the fuck out. It was scary. I was so tired. And it sucked because that doesn't happen. Um, and basically, I came home and just immediately fell asleep. I was so tired, but and that happens to me a lot now. Just in general, rumble strips are your friend. Well, so I didn't get to that point. I didn't like go off the road at all. I was still going straight on and taking the curves and shit. But I just felt it. Like I was like, oh god, if I don't like really focus, I'm gonna fall asleep, and that's not something that usually happens. Um, but that has been something, and the fact that it's, I don't know, this winter has actually put me in like a hibernation mode, where I've just had a lot less energy than usual, and I'm glad that it's warming up at least here, so that I can start like hopefully getting my energy back a bit. Because tomorrow I'm gonna do an editing stream, right? Um, and because I haven't for a while, and also I have some stuff that I need to work on. I've been meaning to work on more of the other, like the Delta Green stuff for a while. I just haven't had the energy, which sucks. But I'm hoping that we I can at least get it back sooner rather than later. Feel like the done with D&D sentiment has been growing. 2024 didn't reignite passion. Maybe we need something really new and well publicized. Also, inflation leading to working more can't help. Yes, and yes. You're right. Yeah. Like I said, crazy year. Or crazy time of the year. Crazy in general times that we're living in. Hope everybody's doing well. I hope you continue to do well as we continue on. There's some stuff that might go on that might actually affect me, like, pretty badly, because of all the stuff that's happening in America right now. It's great. You know. Anyway, maybe nothing more than the next DM shortage topic for D&D stuff. Maybe. I don't know, right? Maybe we need Kid Icarus TTRPG. Smash Bros TTRPG might get more traction. Hello, Verdi. Hello, Entropy. I don't know. The TTRPGs that are based off of things seem to have been popping up a lot more, like based off of pre-existing franchises and stuff, right? Like they seem to be popping up a lot more, and that's cool. Don't get me wrong. Like it's neat. But like I don't know. When I see stuff that's like, oh, this is, the Rambo TTRPG, or, to be fair, it's also depending on my tastes and such, right? But, when I see something like that, or I see something like, I don't know, there was, there was another one that was recent that, it didn't really excite me at all. It was just like, oh, that's a thing. Neat. Stuff like that, it's just like, we can put a lot of things into TTRPG form, but do we need a whole TTRPG for it, or can we, like, utilize the stuff that's already there to get that feel, For me, Hunter x Hunter is a good time, but it, excuse me, won't make my favorites list, I feel, and I don't think I'd tell others about it unless they want to ship the main two characters like I do. Fair enough. Excuse me. Still hoping for a Mortal Kombat TTRPG? That's fair. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that could be fun as a TTRPG, right? I don't know. It is what it is, right? Because, like, I would like to play the Alien one, but Boo brought up this point of, well, if you're playing the Alien TTRPG, you kind of know what you're gonna go for, and he would rather play like Mothership because it's different, right? Um, it's like not exactly just the Alien stuff, which is like, oh yeah, I get that. Yeah, did you see they made a TTRPG based off the hit game Cyberpunk? Right, exactly. I know, that's crazy. Whoa. Yeah. Um there's one that I saw that was like, what is it? The Terry Pratchett TTRPG that's based off of the Onk Onk something, right? I've not actually read any Terry Pratchett, and I've been meaning to. So, I got an audiobook to start with, because it seems like, I mean, a lot of people like his writings and stuff. They say it's witty and such, and I kind of want some of that in my readings, in my listenings recently. Um anyway, let's get going to doing the things that we came here for, right? So today we are going to be talking about a couple of things. Onk more pork, thank you. Um Today we're going to be talking about a couple of other things. That being basically why you shouldn't or should use session 0, as well as why you shouldn't use perception rolls. Interesting things. We've talked about session 0s a lot. We use session 0s ourselves. Hell, we've also conceded that you don't always need a session 0, of course, because you don't necessarily need anything specific to start playing anything. But a session 0 is helpful and useful as a tool to eliminate a lot of potential problems that you might have, right? Session 0s are pretty good. The perception check one, I'm confused about, right? The perception check one is a very short video, and I'm confused as to how we're going to argue, or at least we're going to have an argument of don't roll perception, because it's pretty, like, essential, usually, to, like, allow characters to potentially scout an area. Doesn't even matter if it's D&D or whatever. It's literally to give them a chance to potentially find hidden details or whatever you want, potential hiding enemies, all that kind of stuff. Uh, Secret doors potentially, now that, it's certainly a possibility to just find a seam in the wall. Oh, look, this is like you can see that this is a thing. Maybe if I press the bricks here, whoa, there's a secret door, right? As well as just get a vast overview of a lot of, rooms or environments, whatever they might need, as well as potential, like, smells, if they're using animals or they want to use their own sense of smell themselves. Perception is not just looking around, right? It's also listening, it's also smelling, it's also kind of feeling, even. It's whatever your senses can pick up, really, right? So, I don't know why we would stop using them. And my first thought is potentially that it's going to be the immersion breaking argument, right? You don't want to, like, stop the players mid immersion to say, hey, roll me a perception check to see if you can see something. Which I don't agree with. I think we all have at least the ability to suspend our disbelief enough that the perception check is not going to completely take you out of the game, right? I mean, I don't think so. It might be that way for some people, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody complain about that specifically. Now, that might not be the argument, of course, that we're going to listen to. It might just be nothing, I don't know. It might be something that I've never even thought of and might go, oh, okay, sure. So we'll give it the time of day. Boo will probably come in while we're mid the video. It's only 5 minutes. 6 minutes. A little less than 6 minutes. So maybe we'll get through it real quick. But yeah, here we go. So this video, as I set my shit up that I completely... Okay, there we go. That I almost forgot to. There we go. So this video is brought to us by Lopez Family Variety Channel. Interesting enough, sure. Oh, hello! Oh. Hello? I cannot hear you if you are speaking. Or potentially Discord is doing the thing where you cannot do anything for a second. No. I cannot hear you.
Hello.
Hello, hello!
That took fucking forever to connect.
Oh, was it doing the thing of like the RC connection thing?
Maybe it just said connecting.
Oh, okay. Sometimes
yeah, so
it's...
why are we in here and not just like a normal call?
I was just figuring it would be simpler than you having to worry about going into the other thing.
Oh,
because it also works here. Like, it doesn't matter where we are. This also works, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Okay, that's funny.
Here, let me give you that for chat. Well, hello.
There's a YouTube short
Yes.
on the, like, I'm just thumbing through videos really quick.
Sure.
And the thumbnail, actually, you know what? I'll just fucking send it. It's a funny meme. It's just a thumbnail of a meme. Don't worry. You won't get sued.
Okay.
Probably. It's just funny, and I'm sure you'll be able to spot it. I know my wife, I'm doing this every time she posts a landscape photo. You see fucking Godzilla up there.
Godzilla in there. Yeah.
That's funny.
Nice.
I like that.
That's pretty
funny.
Good. Yeah. Well, we're going to be talking about using or not using perception checks, as well as using and not using session zeros. That is what we're talking about today. And this first video is about perception checks. We haven't even started yet, so you came in literally right at the perfect moment. So, jump in.
Well, let me get an actual watch together.
What's wrong with perception checks? What about other checks then? I don't know. Like I said, it might be the immersion argument.
And it could also be if it's 5e specifically, it could be an argument for passive perception.
Oh, maybe. Ooh.
But if they are if the literal thumbnail says do this instead, I'm willing to bet they are going to present some kind of alternative.
I hope so. The power lounge. Yes, I saw the first frame of this video when I was looking at it for a second and went, huh, okay. I guess we're down here. Neat. Failed plenty of perception checks in real life. Same, for sure.
Yep.
Hello, Ghost Man.
Hello.
I think the meta of perception checks may be the topic. Merely calling for one gives players the impression that they missed something. Fair enough, but I don't think that we're so, like, broken by immersion in that moment, you know? Like, that's just a meta thing that you can square away pretty easy. Because your character has no idea. Right? Like, your character just doesn't know that there was something there. You do, but...
And, well, the other thing is that you can kind of get away with doing that if that is a concern you have of calling for a perception check, and now your players are like, oh, there's something there. What you can do is, if you are running the game, you can have call for perception checks, and you spot something, like, meaningless.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or you hear something meaningless, and so then you establish that, oh, maybe not all perception checks are, like, super important, and there might not actually be something there, so you can still maintain that mystery.
Very much a possibility, yeah.
Yeah.
Why do people so much tie so much of their good time to whether or not they are deep into the zone slash world in TTRPGs? I see that a lot. What sounds weird to me is if one check is bad, then what makes the other checks fine? Well, so for the first part, I mean, being immersed is just fun, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously that's subjective for sure. Some people might have more fun being immersed than others. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you're just really into the story, into the world, into your character, you know, and just being present throughout that whole thing. I don't know. Instead of worrying about the world outside and all that kind of shit, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Escapism in a way.
we were playing, and we're going to be getting back to it at some point, Heat and Blood Right, and that's one of my favorite boomer shooters of recent times. And part of the reason why I love it so much is because the world just feels very real and lived in.
Mm.
And the immersion like gets me to take it very seriously. And so I find myself just enjoying the world and the characters more because it feels more real.
Mm. And for the other thing, if one check is bad, then the other checks are fine. I mean, that's fine, you know? Like, it's not like... It's not like it could be an invalid criticism if something was a bad check and the other ones were perfectly functional. That is fine if you had that as criticism. You would just need to have good reasoning for it. But I don't think that... I don't know what... We'll see what the reasoning is in a second. An argument in favor of passive perception would be a bold move, at least. It would. It would.
Yeah.
I personally love the surprise perception check / wisdom save. Yeah, oh, same. I don't know. It's something that... I don't know. It doesn't take me out of the moment. It just doesn't. I don't know. Everything that I'm doing in the game, I'm both present for, but I also know that it's, you know, a game. So it's easy for me to go in and out of that state any moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's begin.
All right. So stop me if you've heard this one. Your adventurers are somewhere. They're trying to find their way into the evil guy's lair, right? And there's like a secret door or something like that they have to find. So you have them make a perception check. And none of them get anywhere near the target number, right? So you ask them to do it again, and they get an even lower number.
Okay, so first off, if the perception check is absolutely essential for you to progress, then I would assume that you have put other things in place to make it so that that secret door can be found by other means.
Yeah, either that or just make it so that the roll is not needed.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't even give them the roll.
Yeah, don't give them the if it is required, do not give them the ability to fail.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Very strange already. Like,
yeah. So now what I will say, that because this is something that actually happened to me a very long time ago. The first time I ran Call of Cthulhu, what happened was I made a puzzle, and
yes.
I made a puzzle, and the players found it, and they were unable to figure it out. Spoilers, it's because I fucked it up. So, not at all their fault. It was entirely my fault. I was like, okay, well, go ahead and give me an intelligence check to see if you can figure it out. And then after everybody failed it. I'm like, okay, well, since y'all failed that check, give me an idea roll, because that's essentially what you do in Call of Cthulhu, is if all the checks are fucked up and you're stumped, you do an idea roll. And then everybody failed the idea roll. And I'm like, well, shit. I guess for right now, you are unable to figure it out, and blah, 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 blah. You know, other shit happened.
Right.
The problem was, at the time, I did not realize that idea rolls were effectively a guaranteed success, with the caveat that if you fail, you just take more time to figure out the problem.
Yeah.
And I thought that it was essentially just a backup roll that you could make.
Yep.
So that was my mistake. So I can definitely see why that can stump some people, because D&D doesn't really have a system like that, where it really should.
They don't really explain it that way in anything that they have in the material.
Yeah. Like, I guess the whole take 10 thing can kind of work, but I mean, even that's not really the best way to do it, because you're like, well, sure, you can take 10, but just because you take 10 doesn't mean that you're going to be able to do blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, and take 10 was more of an active thing that you had to do at that time, you know? It wasn't even a backup thing. It was just oh, I know how to do this. Take 10.
Yeah, so that way you don't just fail it.
Yeah.
Where D&D kind of needs this thing where if you fuck it up, you have this backup roll that you'll always succeed, but if you fail it, you'll succeed, but with big consequences.
Yeah,
that's what it needs.
So I don't know if it needs it necessarily. I just think that somebody needs to prepare themselves a bit better for it, you know? Because it's because in this instance, it's just like we said, if it's required, why would you make it so that they could actually fail it? Like, you can have them roll to see if they take more or less time, just in general, but to fail it outright and just halt everything, I feel like is the issue, right?
It is.
And so that is really more up to the DM in their actual creation process, rather than the system necessarily needing something like that. Though I will say, well, to be fair, it's been a hot minute, and I don't know what 2024's D&D shit says. But at least for Pathfinder, they say, you know, failing by degrees and all that, failing forward usually.
Yeah.
That is something that would be good to have, I guess, baked in. But to be fair, I don't know if they put that into 5.5 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Here's open.
Yeah. Let's see. OP had to stop him. I have in fact heard the word adventurer. Part of the craft of roleplay is portraying the character who doesn't know things the player knows. Yes. Like that one time entry thought the sick bay of a starship was a magical healing chamber. Yeah, there you go. Divert to trap leading corridor. You could, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just a different way to go. That's the thing. You just got to plan ahead a little bit. And again, in this case, it's like, I guess if they just fail, you just have them fumble around until they find it, and then time progresses, right? I think people need to remember that the world is not stagnant when their characters are doing something, you know? Giving a time penalty to something is a good way to show that, one, the world is alive, and two, that their actions do have a bit of consequences if they fail or not. So yeah, just, I don't know, make time more prevalent in that way.
Make it more meaningful.
Yeah.
Now, I know what you're gonna say. Don't hinge your entire game or an entire session on one roll.
Oh, cool.
Absolutely. That's good advice.
Oh, good.
But what if I told you that there was a way to sort of maintain that tension and those stakes while still making it so that the players don't have to throw dice at the wall for 20 minutes? Don't roll perception. Do this instead.
Thank you. That's very loud. Thank you for your sound mixing being bad.
So, step 1, don't ask for a perception roll.
Yes.
That's step 0. Step 0, don't ask for a perception roll. Okay. Step 1, ask who finds the thing. That's right, just ask them who finds the thing. And then whoever says they find the thing, just say, okay, you find the thing. It's pretty straightforward, right? But that's only step 1. Step 2, the real important step, is you say who triggers a trap, right? Who has something bad happen. And that way you say who finds a thing, who triggers a trap. Your players get to decide. Let's think about a continuum. All the way over here.
Okay.
So now I'm not a huge fan of that, because okay, who finds the trap? Oh, I'm the tank with all the health and all the AC.
Kind of.
I will take every single trap.
Right. Exactly. 1, it does that, and 2, I don't know. necessarily think that you need to have that be the consequence every time. You know, there's plenty
Yeah.
that you can do to be a consequence. Now then
I'm
again,
hoping he doesn't
excuse
mean
me.
to just be like, oh, you didn't find the door? Trap.
Yeah,
I'm hoping
exactly.
that he's like essentially painting this as another situation.
I'm wondering if trap is going to be a broad category, you know, because it can be anything that is like an alarm or
yeah.
I don't know.
Not all damaging.
Yes,
traps.
exactly. Not a damaging trap necessarily, right? I at least am going to give that the benefit of the doubt there. Give him the best faith possible for that. But like, it's not well worded, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right. Because we talked about this before, but trap makes you think, oh, the thing that makes damage happen. Uh-oh.
Yes.
Usually. How would you replace perception, Alejo, and Boo? I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would have assist if I really, really, really hated perception, I would do something similar to this, where I'm just like, okay, you're wandering around, and I would just describe you guys looking around, depending on the situation.
Right.
And you would probably just wind up finding it.
I think, yeah.
Like, if you have, like, let's say you have a skill that is usually linked with perception,
Sure.
I think it's willpower or something. Or maybe it's intelligence. I don't actually remember what's
wisdom.
linked to.
Yeah, it's wisdom.
Wisdom, that's it, not willpower. I would be like, okay, who's got the highest and the lowest wisdom?
Right.
And then, if I roll and, somebody does something bad or you are likely to run into a trap,
right.
The person with a low perception might run into a trap, or a person with a high perception might find the door before any trap is discovered. It kind of just depends on what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to go into this right now, which is the, rules heavy, rules light kind of scale, it seems, at least just from roleplay heavy and roleplay light, I assume, because that's usually what those two are associated with, for some reason. But maybe it's not going to be that, I don't know. But regardless, if you wanted to do it in a way that you don't even need to roll, you can do that of like, okay, describe to me how you're searching the room. Like, tell me exactly what you're doing, where you're putting your hands and shit, like all that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the easiest way for you to do it without having them roll or anything, because then you're just making it a roleplay thing entirely.
Yes.
And
you're actually making them consider the room and what they're doing.
Exactly. That's the only way that I would quote unquote replace it. But at the same time, from what I see, at least with our group and a lot of other groups, they say how they're looking around the rooms when they roll their perception. You describe your actions whenever you roll, really.
Yeah, and so one of the things that we did, this, I don't remember if this one was recorded. I don't think it was. Remember when we did Delta Green? It was me and Aiden.
It was not recorded.
And
yes.
Okay. So basically what happened was I was playing a guy who was like an urban explorer type dude, and we were playing Delta Green.
Yep.
And Delta Green is basically like modern day Cthulhu, except you're working for the Delta Green organization. So, imagine like shadowy government agency who is tasked with dealing with the mythos.
Yes.
And I went into a missing kid's room and I found his laptop.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, so describe the kid's room. And Alejo goes on to say, it's like, oh, well, it looks like a typical teenager's room. He's got like a poster of a girl on the wall, and he's got like a jersey from a sports team. I'm like, okay, what sports team is it? And like, what's the number on the jersey?
Yep.
And I get the number on the jersey, and it was like Giants 06 or Giants 01 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I entered that as the password, and that was the password for the laptop. So just by asking what the room was and using a little bit of intuition and being like, I think that's probably the password. And it was.
Yeah.
Now, who knows? Maybe what I came up with was entirely not the intended password, and Alejo was like, yeah, that's good. I'll let that be the password in the moment. But it wound up being that.
Yeah.
That's how I figured it out.
Yeah, and it worked out, and everything was smooth. I think the investigation roll that you did beforehand was what gave you the laptop. You know, because
Yes.
that was the only thing that you needed to actually like find, and then you had your context clues that you could use, right?
Yeah, because the laptop was under the bed, if I remember
yeah,
right.
it was somewhere tucked under the bed. Could have been easily
Yeah.
missed.
Yes.
It was just to give you a little bit more information potentially, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's absolutely some like again, in conjunction with these roles, you have all these descriptions and stuff, and you are free to have them roll as much or as little as possible, right? Because you're the person who's running the game. So fuck it, who gives a shit, you know? But if your players like rolling dice a lot, they're not gonna mind that they have to roll a perception check here and there. Or if they want to do less die rolling at that time, and you can just have them describe shit all the time. Like it's fine. But I don't think that anything needs to replace anything else. You know, it's all just it all works.
Yeah, it just works.
It just depends. Yeah, it just depends on the person and the table.
Yeah. I think the thing that gets me about having, like perception check, you fail, roll again, you fail, roll again,
that feels so weird.
It does feel weird because essentially now we're just saying like, okay, this needs to happen, so just roll until you win. We're basically just saying, okay, fuck the odds, and just make it happen.
Yeah.
And so I feel uncomfortable even getting things like advantage sometimes because I'm like, ugh. This feels weird.
Sure.
But of course, getting advantage and having advantage is completely fine.
Yeah.
I don't mind that, especially when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this and make it so it's like this. It's like, okay, you get advantage for that.
Right.
You know, that feels good. When I'm describing something and then I am gifted advantage because of how I am describing something, that feels good.
And it also reminds me of how you push rolls in Call of Cthulhu, right? Where you have to describe how you're gonna attempt the thing again in a way that might completely fuck everything up.
Yeah.
Right?
So like I'm gonna go ahead and pick the lock. You fail. Okay. I'm gonna push the roll. I'm gonna jam my fucking knife in there like Metal Gear.
Yeah, exactly. And then you fail.
Colonel, I'm gonna shove my knife in the lock and fucking hope it works.
And then if you fail, it just snaps off and you don't have a knife anymore.
Shit, Colonel, where can I find another knife?
Right?
Airdrop it to me.
Something like that. And yeah, I just so there's no need to first off worry about the having them do it over and over and over again, right? We can just nip that in the bud immediately. What I will say though is that some systems do allow you to do it in that way, like Call of Cthulhu, right? Vampire also has this. If you were to fail something, like a skill check or something, you can do it again, but you're at a penalty. You get -2 die, and then you can try it again, and it's -2 more die, you know? It goes all the way down until you have 1 die, and then it's like, well, if you don't get enough successes, you will not be able to do this, unfortunately.
I'm gonna do it over and over and over again until I get at least 1.
Right? Which then it's
That's
just
not gonna
like,
be enough, but fuck it.
which then it's just like, well, as the storyteller, you take that into account, the time that it's taking, the more frustrated the character's getting. Hey, potentially this is like going to make a lot of noise as well because he's just fucking scraping at that goddamn lock. My God. You know?
Why is he sound like that? Colonel!
Who is he talking to? There's no one else out there. What the fuck?
Colonel? Who the fuck is he talking to? Is that a member of Foxhound?
So
I never even played the original games.
I haven't played the originals either. I do want to.
Actually, you know what? I've never played a Metal Gear game.
Oh,
actually, ever.
Really?
Although I really would love to play Rising Revengeance.
Dude, Rising Revengeance is so good. Yeah,
dude.
It's absolutely amazing and silly. I love it so much.
What do you mean? It's totally serious.
Right, exactly. Like every Metal Gear.
Yes.
But I guess the other thing that I would put forth is just I can understand if a DM is not so used to improvisation in the moment and such, because they could do this and then get stumped for a little bit because it's just like, oh shit, I put this in front of them. Now I don't know what to do because they aren't getting there. And this is usually with more inexperienced DMs a lot of the time, at least creating something that looks like this, right? So obviously the advice that I would have, of course, is that you can take your time and stop the game for a second, tell everybody, fuck, I need a second, right? And then give yourself like 5-10 minutes to figure it out if you need to. Because hopefully your table is cool with that. That's at least the hope that we all have for our tables. So, you know, and if they're not, well, you know, so yeah, I mean, that's kind of all the things for this situation, really. Nice font, weird color. Yeah, it's a nice font. I do like that font.
Yeah.
Who finds the trap? That's it. It does feel a little weird. Like,
who finds the trap? Nobody finds.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
We find the door.
It's very strange to me, right? Like, it's just like I don't know, man. You're just, you know, think of, like, for me as the DM, yeah, I want the players to be a part of the world and have some agency and change and all that kind of stuff in it, but I don't feel like I need to hand over the reins entirely to them in that situation and go, all right, you guys figure it out. I don't want to deal with figuring out who is nearby this trap. You know?
Yeah.
It feels a little weird. I'm not going to say necessarily lazy, but it does feel adjacent to that in a very minor way, you know?
Lays Jason.
Laz Jason. That's right. I don't know. It's not like so harsh that it's lazy. It's just weird.
Yeah. I feel you.
You could, in his example, have the secret door open after a puzzle is solved, and maybe have the dice roll made if the players want to attempt to skip it. Yes.
That's something. Yeah.
Like,
you sequence broke. Well done.
Yes, exactly. Again, if you're designing this thing, and you have it so that you've designed alternate ways to access the next thing that you need to, then yes, absolutely, you can do anything. And that's what I hope that people are going to do, is actually make it so that they have multiple ways to get through to this thing, or at least have the wherewithal to say, okay, if they fuck all this shit up, then if they figure out something clever, yeah, they can get through.
Yeah.
/ I don't know, have like a troll come through the wall. I don't know.
I mean, hell, that's honestly another way you can do it. Where it's like, oh, if you fucking get through, you know, there was a troll on the way.
Right, exactly.
And then during the course of the fight, when he enters the room, he throws a rock and it misses and it exposes the door.
Yeah.
But, you know,
it's
you know that it is there now, but you gotta fight the troll first.
Exactly. That can be a consequence. And you can make it so that it's progression as well. It's failing forward, right? Another way of failing forward. Obviously, we trans-dimensionalize the troll to get in there, but potentially, you know, you never know.
Yeah.
You could make it so that it's whatever was actually, you know, living there before or whatever. There's just another one that was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. I agree with Boo. Players can metagame very easily. Yeah, I mean, in that instance, it does feel like an invitation for them to go, hey man,
no.
No, yeah, exactly.
I don't obviously, if you do that, the DM will be like, okay, if you can't choose, I'm going to choose for you. You know, I'll roll a die.
Yeah, for sure.
But, you know, it'd just be a funny moment.
For sure. Don't tell Aiden to roll less dice. He might get sad. True.
Yeah.
Guard hearing the guy trying to lock the lock over and over on the other side of the door, yelling shit over and over. Yep.
Yeah.
Shit.
Fuck. Some Skyrim lock picking. And you don't have the lock, and you don't have the skeleton
key. Yeah. Hello, Mark. If you were transported into the world of D&D or all fantasy games and had to make your perfect character for yourself, what would you choose? Race, class, multi-class, prestige class, weapon, etc. Oh, that's a whole thing.
That honestly sounds like a whole fucking video.
Yeah, it would be, really.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, I would go sorcerer. Like, that's just gut reaction. I would love to go sorcerer for my class.
Okay.
Or warlock, but I think sorcerer more so because I don't want to be bound to whatever the fuck. I'm just bound to maybe exploding if I'm wild magic. I don't know.
I think if you put a gun to my head, I think I would have to either be a wizard or an artificer because I really, really like being that kind of jack of all trades. And in real life, I love fixing shit. Like, if I see a problem, it brings me great satisfaction to fix it.
Yeah, for sure.
So being that kind of Swiss Army knife type character, artificers literally because, you work with fucking machines and shit, and wizards because you have all the spells to do all the shit. So, yeah, it could be one of those two.
Yeah. And then for like a race, at the moment I'm dwarf pilled, super hard, but
basted dwarf pilled.
That's right. So I would go dwarf as a gut reaction.
And hey, it's not much further than you would in real life.
Just chop a few feet off, and I'm all right. I'm there.
Well, I was gonna say add a few.
Yeah.
feet.
Well, but yeah, that's my gut reaction for that. Though I would be open to quite a few. Because they're all pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I would. I'm not too sure exactly which race I would want to be, but I know I would want to be one of the ones that is long-lived, or long-lived.
Sure.
Because the void of death is a little
it's a little spooky. Yeah,
it's a little spooky.
Yeah, a little spooky here and there. Yeah, for sure.
I
had a moment of fear in my bed the other night. That was great.
Oh my god!
Just in general, was thinking for like a second and then just went, "Oh god, I feel so scared." And then
oh my god, death is real.
Yeah,
no.
Warforged, boo.
Ooh. So now, I don't know if I would want to be a Warforged, because I don't really want to be that kind of, like, emotionless, not feeling type machine.
I don't think they're all like that, though. They're just,
But can they feel?
Yeah, I think so. They're magical constructs. They have some kind of feeling capabilities, yes.
Okay.
You can kind of play them a lot of different ways.
I see. I feel like
fair.
I might want to be, like... I think I would want to be a half-elf.
Ooh, yeah, half-elf is cool. Yeah,
because that way I might wind up being able to bang both human women and elf women. Possibly.
God damn it.
Dude, fuck off. You can't tell me a little bit of the gooner doesn't come in when you're like, if I could be in a fantasy like a fantasy world, who would I be? I want to be someone at least moderately attractive so I can get laid.
Honestly, didn't even cross my mind.
Well, look who isn't based.
That's it. Yep, I guess so. But yeah, I mean, for like weapons, it's a whole thing that I would have to put a lot more thought into, honestly.
Yeah, if I wanted to do weapons specific stuff, I would probably want to go with Artificer, because they can actually do like weapons and armor and stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot to go from, honestly.
Yeah.
And like, I love the question, honestly. Might think about it a lot more and actually like come up with an answer for next time potentially. Just say it, but I don't know right off the top of my head other than the gut reactions that I had. They're just like not even thinking.
Yeah.
We would all be that wizard kid in the D&D cartoon. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It would suck, dude.
Presto!
That's why half health. I get to be at least half hot.
Most recent editions let them eat and sleep when they want. That is true. They used to.
Oh, okay, that's good.
They used to not. Just be an incubus, boo. There you go.
Dude, that feels like cheating.
If you're not thinking about banging the fantasy races, you've not read enough isekai. True. You know what? That is fair. That is fair. I have not watched / read a lot of it, so.
Yeah. Honestly, Shield Hero and Slime Reincarnation and you're good.
I do need to. I gotta get to those at some point. Whenever I get in the.
Although honestly, Parallel World Pharmacy is also really excellent. It sounds weird, but it's really good.
Honestly, most of the ones that have the weirdest titles are actually like really good. Apparently, so
yeah.
Like, and I don't. Yeah, it's fair.
Parallel World Pharmacy, a doctor, literally, the classic. Oh, he works himself to death, literally. And he gets isekai'd into the body of a kid, and his superpower is that as long as he knows the chemical, the structure of the molecular structure of a chemical or an object, he can make it.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
And so because he's like this really good doctor, he knows medicine. So you follow along this medieval medieval nation learning about medicine.
Yeah. Which is
and like curing
ridiculously
disease and shit,
crazy,
and
yeah.
like the politics and ethics
I bet.
of it's really interesting.
Yeah,
Actually,
It does actually sound very cool. Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty short too. It's only, I want to say, like 18 episodes.
Oh wow. Okay. Neat.
Yeah.
When I get in an anime mood again, you know.
Yeah.
When I get there.
Yeah. No, you're good.
I still need to get
mood.
back to part 4 of JoJo. I watched like the first episode, went ooh, and then I was like, all right, I'll get there.
Yeah. Is part 4 still Dio?
No.
Oh no, that's Josuke.
Yeah, it's
Josuke. My bad.
Yeah, it's Josuke.
Yeah, it's good.
Very cool. I love the art style and everything, and all the colors and everything that they go with.
It took me a couple of times to get used to it.
That's fair.
But it's really good.
I can understand that. Yeah, for sure. Hey boo, you can bang whoever you want as whatever you want. True.
It's true. See here, that's the other thing. If I'm a wizard, I've got fucking polymorph bro.
Oh god. Isekai gets too much hate, most of it, or at least a 6 out of 10. That's fair, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it's so prevalent, and that's why I think it gets a lot of hate, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't think I've ever actually watched an isekai that I was like, God, this is awful.
Yeah.
It's just, oh god, another isekai.
Yeah.
I just want like just a regular fantasy anime.
Yeah.
And that's why I love Frieren so much. It's not an isekai.
Yeah.
And, other than that, it's also fucking incredible.
Yeah.
That's the other one you gotta watch.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. I mean, I am a furry, so no shock. I picked Tabaxi. Yeah, fair enough. There you go. Okay.
Oh, Tabaxi. Oh, I couldn't even hear you say that.
Oh yeah, Tabaxi. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Enough of this. Let's see where we are. All right.
Yep. It's getting too cultured.
Players get to decide. Let's think about a continuum. All the way over here is very heavily role-playing groups. All the way over here is like mechanics-oriented groups.
I knew it.
So this group over here is basically a groundlings troop. This one over here, they basically treat the game like it's Python. I find that the groups that are closer to the edges like this system a lot more. Heavy role-playing guys are going to be tripping all over each other to trigger the trap, because when you trigger the trap, you get time with the game master, you get to go back and forth and decide what happens to your character. Everybody snaps. It's a lot of fun. And
okay. I mean, that is one instance where you could absolutely have like
that one seems completely backwards. I feel like if you're big into roleplay and you care about your character, you're gonna really not want to trigger that trap.
Yeah, I mean, like, yes, what I don't understand is that are you not having enough like moments throughout, or is it just like another moment that you want to have with your character being the spotlight? Is that what we're going for here? Because I like, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, yeah, okay, I want to have my character be important, right? Like, that's just natural. But like, that's not like that's not the first reason that comes to mind for me to go, yeah, I want to be the one to trigger the trap.
Yeah,
I don't understand it. Really.
I don't either.
But hey, if that's the way that it goes for your group or whatever, yeah, go for it, I guess. I don't know. Like, when I'm in the games that I've been playing and the games that I'm doing, I don't know if I've ever, like, there are times where I really feel like I haven't given people enough time, and I feel bad about that. But there are moments where people just aren't going to be in positions where they are the focus,
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's not your episode.
Exactly. So, but I don't know. As the player, I never find that to be a bad thing, because I'm watching the other players doing their thing, and obviously I'm just like, but for me,
I'm vibing.
I'm just like, I'm there, I'm in the moment, I'm watching something happen, and I'm like, shit, that's cool. You're doing your thing, your story, or the story that is involving you at the moment is progressing, and I just want to know how you're going to handle this, Mm-hmm. It's a show.
Yeah.
It really is, and I get front row seats to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not it's not anything that makes me go, but I'd rather that be me.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I don't know. It's never been that way for me.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, but if that is something that happens for other people, you know, I get it, but I don't understand it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Alter Self would be a pretty good spell to have. Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Hey. I like being creative, that's why I picked Bard, and I love nature, that's why I picked Druid. Fair enough, yeah. Druid is a real problem solver class. Yeah, it is.
That too, yeah, dude. I like animals, so Druid would also probably be up
Druid
there.
is very cool, yeah, for sure.
But I wouldn't really want to just live alone in the woods all the time. That would kind of suck.
Yeah. Obviously in favor of Druids. You've already? You? Favor of Druids? What?
Never would have guessed.
Honestly, in most games, I'm socially awkwarding myself into believing that I'm hogging the scene and everyone hates me. Fair. Yep.
Nah.
I get you. I understand that. Absolutely. But thankfully, at least in the groups that I've been in, I haven't felt that way for a bit. You know? Like, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't too bad, or it was worse when I was starting out, really. These days, I think I'm in the perfect group. Like, legitimately, our group is probably the perfect group that I could ever have asked for, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, being together, being friends for 16 years will do that.
Exactly.
And of course, the guys all the way on the other side will convene for like a single second and decide that guy's going to take the damage because they have the highest hit points or the best way to mitigate that damage or whatever, right? And that's fine. Let them do that. Absolutely just let them do that. So you might say, hey, perception is used for other stuff too. And in most games, you can continue to not roll perception for those things, right? Imagine that your players are out in the forest. They're going to get ambushed, right? So you ask who hears the ambush just in time and who is completely oblivious. This time, if you have 4 players, you can be like, which 2 of you hear the ambush?
So these choices are very binary, and I get their purpose. I don't know. It doesn't feel natural to me.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it doesn't.
It's like fucking in my head, immediately I start thinking the goblins could fuck up. Or they could fuck up by doing something and alert the goblins in a way that they are like, oh, they noticed us, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Or giving them the ability to see the goblins beforehand. Maybe the ambush isn't like right there. And so they see the goblins beforehand and they get a few seconds to prepare themselves to get a few actions in to potentially make this fight easier. Or they just start it off right then and just shoot off, you know, fireball or some volleys of arrows or something. I don't know. Or they get that moment to run away, or they just are completely oblivious to it, and they just get a moment that is a little harrowing for them, you know? Like, they're not going to always be able to see the thing coming, you know? Like, that doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of something trying to stealth up on you is for them not to be seen. And yes, absolutely, if they aren't the best at stealth and somebody has rolled a perception, or is given the opportunity to at least try a perception, or if you're using passive perception in some way, then, you know, giving them the opportunity to actually, like, have that be something that's useful. It's just, it feels better to me than, hey, guess what?
You see it.
Guess what? Hey, who sees it in the very, at the final moment before you're about to get fucking ambushed? Who the fuck sees it? That feels so much more like taking me out of the experience.
Yeah.
Than saying, hey, roll a perception check.
Yeah.
Right? And that might be because I've been doing it for a very long time. Right? But at the same time, I don't know, when you put that little bit in between so you guys are going through the forest. The sun is shining through a little bit. You can kind of see those rays that are coming through the branches and such. And you see this like pretty well trodden deer trail that's going this way, and it's it's going to make it so that you can at least go through this area a bit faster potentially. And you start to hear the sound of like cicadas that are kind of just buzzing through the trees a bit here and there, and
Japanese summer.
Right. Roll up
the opening scene of every summer
episode. True. Very true. And it's just like
shit, dude.
I know, it's really annoying.
It's great.
And it's just like, and then it's just like, as you're saying, and then it's just roll a perception check also, if you would. And then, they roll it out, and then you just say, and then you notice that there are no birds that are singing in this forest, and the sound of the cicadas is starting to die out. They're quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going on. Or you don't even say the something's going on thing. You just say that and then say, what do you do?
I keep fucking walking. I'm not paying attention to the birds and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Birds don't fucking affect me.
Whoever actually heard it might say something or start doing something. Just get them in the moment with that. It's like you've now noticed something that's changed in my description. Something is happening. What's going on? It's like, oh, and then you start hearing the scurrying of small feet throughout behind you. Like they're to the back and the left and the back and the right, and there's multiple scurrying sounds. What do you do? Like, it's just, it adds that you're setting the scene. You're giving them the tension because you're describing what's going on. And then they have the option of going, fuck, okay, I make the whistle. I make the whistle of the bird call that we've all agreed on to say that something's going on, something's in danger, get down or something.
Something is sus.
Yeah. And then it's just like, oh shit, okay, and then everybody drops, and then it's like, okay, do you want to remain in stealth, or do you want to just like watch what's happening and just kind of take cover, maybe not taking in like hiding, but just preparing yourself, and like it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you're gonna stay in stealth, the rogue or hunter, or sorry, ranger or whatever. Okay, you make your stealth roll. Oh, you are gonna actually post up and behind something. Okay, get
this fucking guy pretending the party would have a ranger.
Right.
What a
true
God.
Very true.
But look at this fucking guy doesn't play D&D.
True. I'm a poser.
Anyway.
But like, okay, so you are basically you're getting cover, and you know what, you get to have the dodge bonus. Like you're dodging because you're aware and you're doing something. The other guys, if you're not actually going to do anything, well, you're going to be there, I guess. You're just going to be on the ground hoping. Or you can prepare a spell or prepare an attack or something. Do something. And I don't know. It just all flows out naturally from that, at least to me. Instead of me saying, all right, so you guys are going
through the woods and you see an ambush coming.
Well, no,
stop.
It's like okay, yeah, I give you the whole scene and everything, and then it's just like, all right, who is the one who sees the ambush? And it's like, oh, okay, I guess there's an ambush coming.
Yeah, you've revealed too much information way too fast.
Exactly.
And effectively for nothing.
Exactly. It's just like, okay, so instead of me describing it to you and giving you the option of like playing the character out a bit more, and choosing whether or not like that character specifically who actually notices it actually does something about that, you've made it so now everybody is like, okay, so we're going to get into a combat. Which one of us is the one who's going to do it? Okay, and then who is going to like take the initial hit or whatever the second question is going to be? I don't know yet, but like like it. Yes, metagaming and all that kind of stuff, power gaming, all that kind of stuff is something you can do, but part of the narrative is lost, at least to me, when you're doing something like this.
Yeah.
Anyway, unnatural it feels, as I said.
Yes.
Yeah, I would have to live close to a town, not in the middle of nowhere. Oh yeah, for like druids and stuff,
For
not
the
being a
druid.
druid. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that. Guys, new style of combat. Who gets hit by the arrow and whose character dies?
Oh,
I've been learning about the Kuatoa lately for my stories, and they're super cool. Yes.
yes,
I
they are.
had no idea they could make deities real by believing really hard. Yep. You
Yeah,
get enough
it's
of them
great,
together,
dude.
they can make anything real by believing.
Yep,
It's very cool.
it's super cool.
You can do a lot with that.
Which two of you are flat-footed? Hey, what's
Yeah.
flat-footed called now? Off guard? Okay, which of you are off guard then?
You can just say surprised.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's what they have as the thing. But to be fair, maybe it's the new version. I don't know. Fucking.
And yeah, again, your group all the way on this side, they're going to probably come up with like the funniest pair.
Oh, so now
to-
now you know how to like put your music down enough that it's not drowning shit out and shit. Okay, cool.
What do you want? Want to be in the video? Oh, everybody wants to be in the video. Mom's calling me. And yeah, your big role play groups are going to probably come up with the funniest pair of characters that could have noticed and not noticed. And your heavy mechanics players will just nominate the optimal pair, and that'll be that.
Those are definitely options that could happen. Yes.
Honestly,
Yeah.
the most resistance you'll find is with groups that are in the middle, because they'll be like, is this a test? Are you punishing me? What's happening here? You just have to be like, hey, we're just trying something. It's okay. Just roll with it for now. We'll see how it works. I guess the
So, oh wait.
thing is, if you like it and you end up doing it, you should let players move points away from perception and put them into other things, however it works in whatever game you're playing.
Okay, I was gonna say, so obviously this is something you bring up before you start doing it.
Yeah.
Not if not a session 0 in like before you start the session of like, okay, this is something that we might do. That way you don't catch anybody off guard. Because then you mitigate the "Are you punishing us?" question. Which I'm like, what? I get it because yeah, you're just throwing this at us without us being able to roll anything or be able to notice, and like it does feel unfair because you're just saying, hey, pick who gets damaged.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's weird.
Instead of giving them the option to try to mitigate it in some way, potentially that could be a fix of like, okay, so pick who's going to have this happen to them, and if there's something you want to do to potentially like, well, for the flat-footed people, quote unquote,
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to because they've been caught off guard. They're surprised. But at that point, it's like, okay, so yeah, I guess the whole perception stat is gone, or skill.
Yeah.
You're obviously passive perception is gone, so it's just a different weird game in that way. Like, you've taken away my ability to attempt to look at things or smell things or touch things or like taste things in such a way. Like, perception is very important.
Yeah, perception's kind of fucking huge.
Like, it's all of your senses. As I said in the beginning, it's all of your senses that you can then roll to see if you notice in such a way. You know? How are you? Okay, so what would you like to do to look in the room? Okay, I'm gonna search with like my eyes. I'm gonna look around, see if I can see anything different. Oh, okay. And then what are you doing? Oh, I'm actually gonna like listen real careful, see if I can hear anything like behind the walls or anything, you know?
Yeah, right.
Like, just
what is the point of having multiple people search a room when apparently you just find everything?
yeah, just have
there's
them,
no perception anymore.
like, actually have them describe it. That's it. If you don't want to use perception, do not even ask the questions like that. Ask, how do you search the room? How are you keeping yourself on guard as you're traveling? You know, who's taking watch? Like, that's, like, those kinds of things. That way, and then tell me how you're doing it. Describe to me how you're doing it. That way, you're giving them the agency that they need, so that they're just doing the thing. And if they're caught off guard by something, it's because they didn't do something specific, I guess. With, like, trying to find a secret door, they didn't say that they were going through and trying to touch the walls, you know? Like, they were just like, yeah, I'm gonna look under all these tables and go through all the drawers of this old, like, storage thing and something, and just didn't say anything about the walls. Okay, sure. Maybe you then say, oh, okay, you start, like, you're getting near this wall with this chest of drawers here. Okay, you feel a draft, you know? Ooh, it's like a little cold air that's coming through from.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, it feels really good. Yeah, it's coming through the wall.
I'm just gonna sit here and just I'm just gonna sit here. It's a little bit muggy in this castle, you know.
Then it is literally. You're doing the role playing and everything, and putting the character where they need to be in order to find the thing. That way they can't fail it. And then it's like for the ambush section. Okay, so you're keeping watch. Okay, how are you looking around? Oh, okay. So while we're traveling through this forest, I'm really keeping my ear out for any sounds of approach from behind us. In fact, you know what? I'm walking backwards. You know, I'm gonna walk backwards, and could I get you, other player, to like guide me so that I don't trip and stumble and shit, please? You know, like
it's very elaborate, but yes,
right. Like, but that's what I'm saying, right? Like,
I know.
Giving them the ability.
It's very on brand for D&D players,
right? So it's just like, you know, giving them the options. The option to create the options rather than, hey, so you're going through the forest.
Now what?
There's an ambush. You're gonna get shot, or no, sorry, who's gonna get shot?
Yeah,
it's like, okay,
I want to get shot.
Okay, sure. I don't know. It all like really rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, it's weird.
And I will obviously admit that it might just be bias from playing it a certain way for so long, but regardless, it just doesn't feel like it fits in the system.
Well, I mean, it's just completely antithetical to your style.
Yes.
Effectively.
Yeah. And but it also just doesn't feel like it fits with how D&D's mechanics work.
Yeah.
And like, yes, Draco Kraken says, also screw you to the class or race with a perception bonus, I guess. Yup.
Yeah.
Now you gotta put it into something else, I guess. Which, not too hard of a fix, but regardless, why?
But I mean, what if you picked that race specifically because you wanted to be the sea guy?
Yeah. Yeah, what if you're Aiden? Who wants to literally stand still and see infinity?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
In my experience, even the heavy roleplay groups would optimize in this system. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It begs for it because it's so meta, you know?
Yeah.
At least to me. Video gets an automatic 5 out of 10 for the cat.
Yeah.
Nah, it's fine. It's just, I don't know.
Want cats?
No. What I'm saying, I have 2 cats.
I know.
No, what I'm saying is, it's fine that this video isn't like bad. It's just putting something forth, but there's nothing like
not bad. We're just disappointed.
It's definitely like, well, yeah, but also it's just like, I don't know. It's closer for me to like a 4 because it feels like this doesn't really fit into what we're talking about D&D, you know? It's an alternative for sure, but it's not complementary in a way.
Yeah.
To how the game usually like works in general.
Yeah.
Feels like you have to do a lot of extra steps in order to put this in place, I guess.
Yeah, and it's not really that I would say it's not really
there.
worth the effort.
Exactly.
Whereas you could put just a little bit more effort into doing perception checks, like more descriptively, and that would be more rewarding.
Yes, I believe so. Cat gets a 10 out of 10, but I'm still deciding on the human. Fair. I feel like the cat's performance was only an 8.5 out of 10. Fair. It did just kind of come up, and that's usually what they do.
Yeah.
That's fair. The bar for cat performance is really high. You spent the night in a brothel. Collectively decide which one of you gets the herp, and it can't be the paladin.
Yo. What if the... Oh, God. Sucks to be the paladin, dude.
God damn. Shit.
But what if my paladin's an oathbreaker?
Ooh, then absolutely. He absolutely.
And what if I'm
gets it.
literally the paladin of a goddess who's, like, all about the sex?
Well, then you're actually blessed. You're fine. Don't worry about it.
Then I can't get it,
Yeah.
but I still
Just
do.
in general.
Yeah. I still bang, but
Yeah.
no... Yeah.
That Alejo isn't mad. He's just disappointed.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's anyway. There's only like a minute left.
Yeah.
Does this work in every game? No.
True.
I would never do something like this in an Exalted game because there are, like, no joke, probably 30 different charms that interact with perception. So why
that
do
cat
this, right?
against its
I
will.
think for a long time now, role-playing games and role-playing game designers have been sort of rethinking perception and the idea of the necessity for perception. You can see that in the fact that, for example, the new World of Darkness didn't have a perception attribute.
Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition is World of Darkness, and it has awareness.
Yeah, that's perception.
Which is, it can be perception and it can be other things. Like,
yeah. Yeah, like,
okay. Like, I could combine it with charisma to be more of like a social awareness if I wanted to, you know? Like, but that's what insight is more for, you know?
Yeah.
But if you don't have insight, potentially I could do awareness as well, just for like physical tics rather than social ones. Social cues, tone, and all that, right? Like,
I mean, hell, I don't know if I would even do awareness for that. I think I would probably do etiquette.
Sure, yeah, etiquette also works. Like, that's the beauty of Vampire. First off,
right?
But second off, I'm pretty sure I also have Werewolf. Where did I put that? I think that's in my shelf.
Werewolf?
Where Werewolf at? I think that's
Werewolf.
I think that's over in my shelf somewhere over there, and I'm not gonna go get it. But I'm pretty sure it also has something like awareness in it, because
I'd be surprised if it didn't. I don't know if I've ever seen a TTRPG without some form of C skill.
Yes, or at least in some way, you know, even if it's not a rollable skill, it's something that you can utilize to look around in some perceive, one might say, in some way. I don't know what you're referring to, and I would love to know, I guess. You are the herp. As that paladin.
Oh my god.
Pick the biggest horn dog to get the herp. Yes, they would.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can see it in the fact that recently, Pathfinder 2nd edition, more recently anyway, doesn't have a... Okay, bye. You can see it more recently in Pathfinder 2nd edition, decoupling perception from your other abilities, right? Or from your other skills.
Yeah, but it's still a skill, though.
Yeah.
And you get bonuses to it and everything, depending on what you pick. Like, it's not that it is separate, but it's not
any less valuable.
Yes.
People are just sort of thinking about perception and how and whether it's necessary, and what does it mean for a game where perception isn't randomized, or is randomized differently, or is paid for differently. So
they're thinking about perception in every single possible, like, instance. So
Yes.
they're not thinking about perception and not including it. They're just thinking about how they include it. Yeah. Every time you design a game, you think about how they're going to be able to look at the world or interact with the world in a perceiving way. Yes.
Yeah, because
that's
kind of what we're all doing here.
I was gonna say, every single fucking game in anything thinks about that because that's an important thing for anyone to do that has the ability to perceive the world in whatever sense.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of if it's vision, touch, listening. Like I said, the five senses, tasting, fucking, like, what are we what are you bringing this up for?
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Where are we?
I'm gonna roll a perception check.
It seems like game designers are thinking about how to incorporate perception. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I have not seen any that have taken it out or made it in a way that, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's one to think about. Don't roll perception. Do that instead.
It's a way to do it. Oh, Jesus. Okay. It's so loud.
You always get flashbanged.
Really, it's loud. All right, well, that's Don't Roll Perception from Lopez Family Variety Channel, so
Yep,
there you go, I guess. It's a way to do it. If you want to do it that way, there's nothing stopping you, and I will not say that it's a bad way to do it. What I will say is that, to me, it feels a lot less natural, it feels a lot more immersion-breaking, and I don't understand why you would do it instead of describing things and giving the players the ability to roll these things. And, like, enact their character in that way, more so.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know, man. Sure.
Yeah.
Do it in whatever way you want. That was a 5-6 minute video. We went for an hour and a half. All right.
Well, it's because we got a lot of good questions.
Yeah, no,
that were
it's
kind
true.
of unrelated to the video.
Well, we had, like, a couple of things, but it was still, like, mostly about the perception, you know? Like,
yeah. That and getting isekai'd, but, you know.
Well, yeah, just a little bit of isekai.
We don't talk about that.
It was, like, a couple of minutes. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
So, now, we're still talking about herp. All right. Anyway, let's move on. So, I have two videos that are pretty short and have to do with session zeros.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with, should we start with why I never do a session zero, or you need to run session zeros, and here's why?
I think we should start with why I never do one.
And, like,
that
to be fair,
sounds more interesting.
Yeah. To be fair, we talked about this before. You don't need to, necessarily. No. You don't need to do anything, right?
But doing one almost never hurts.
Exactly. I don't see, like, there's no reason to not. Well, sorry. There are benefits to doing so, and if you do not need those benefits, then I understand why you wouldn't do it.
Yes.
Now, I watched, like, the first 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
This is an excerpt that was from a previous video that this person made that he's going to show the quote, and then he's going to explain this part of the video, and it has to do with the session zero thing. It's an interesting quote, and I understand why he had to make the video afterwards. So hopefully he explains, because this quote is wild without any context. Okay. So this is Why I Never Do Session Zero by Mystic Arts. Okay. Here we go.
I think Session Zero is a bad way to solve the problems it's designed to solve. Yikes. Yeah, I really did say that. Okay. Don't panic. I'll start off by saying there's a reason Session Zero exists, and if you aren't as intense about pre-game preparations as I am, you should absolutely be doing it. Session Zero is the minimum, but I don't do it. Why? Because I do several other things instead. Welcome to Mystic Arts, where I put on this summer shirt to convince myself winter hasn't started.
Nice.
It's not working. My name is Dadi, I'm a professional writer and director, and I've been DMing for 10 years. If you're new to this hobby, Session Zero is a special kind of session where everyone gathers around and we establish expectations, outline the terms of a social contract, and share house rules. Often, a Session Zero includes building characters together. As the DM, you can help players during character creation by advising them to select options that will serve the adventure or the campaign that awaits. And that's all well and good. But to me, the problem with Session Zero is this. The players and I are all adults. We have hobbies, families, jobs, and while we do have a rigorous system for organizing our game nights, I don't want to take the time to carve out a chunk in our schedules and bring everyone around the table just so we can sit around and not play D&D.
Okay, already. Okay.
Oh my god.
All right, so, first off, okay.
Yeah.
So, you can do a Session Zero and still play afterwards.
Yeah.
That's just firstly a thing. Secondly, sure. If you are going to take a shit ton of time and do the entirety of your scheduled time, that's unfortunate. That seems like it's a problem that you would have if you didn't want to do this in the first place, right? It's not something that other people are going to necessarily have as a problem because they are willing to schedule this out, right? Now, all well and good. Again, if you don't do your Session Zero at all, or if you don't do a Session Zero at all, excuse me, great. You get through all your stuff. You've been doing this for 10 years. I'm sure that you've found the way that it works. That's totally fine. Hell, for us, our Session Zero is at least for Vampire, it was a lot shorter than, or at least it wasn't as necessarily detailed as other Session Zeros that we've done. It was more just to clarify rules and such, while character creation happened, and that was really it. We didn't really go into too much else because we didn't need to, but it was nice to have that time to just take our characters and kind of figure them out together. And get that clarification. Could we have done that on our own one-on-one? Yeah, absolutely. But we wanted to do it this way, and we did.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope he goes into the more of the why it's a bad way. What? Hold on, we're at 119. What was this?
It doesn't solve the problems it's meant to solve.
And that's I don't understand what that's about because I don't understand what the problems are that it's meant to solve.
Yeah, like what do you
is the problem like not being able to communicate with people? I guess
so.
But like
maybe
so on right at the beginning it's like, okay, so you already put the thing of like we're adults and we have all this shit to do, and it's like, okay, so you can still be that and do a Session Zero.
Yeah.
You know? Absolutely, you're not like you could not play, but guess what? You still get to hang out with your friends.
Yeah,
like that's a thing.
Yeah, I'll never understand this mentality of, oh my god, we're old. We have lives.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want to sit down and like do stuff.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Every D&D session, as soon as we get together, go.
Right.
Go, don't stop for anything.
Right.
I don't get it.
It feels very strange.
It feels so forceful and forced.
Yes. And maybe there's some sort of perspective that we're not getting, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm super busy all the fucking time. The fucking time, if not dying because I'm tired from being busy, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
and like I am also busy, and when I'm not busy, I'm trying to it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm either busy, resting from being busy, and getting ready to be busy again, or playing a game to unwind, watching an anime to unwind, or trying, and lately failing, to write stuff.
Right, yeah, same.
But the thing is, if you're gonna play this game...
Right.
You set aside time for the game.
Yeah, exactly.
That time is to be spent involved in the game, no matter how it actually presents itself. Whether it's a Session Zero and we're all getting used to the system and learning it and making a character and getting hyped up for the first real session.
Yeah.
you're still playing the game.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I like. Yeah, okay. Dave, yeah. Back on topic. This is really a play with friends versus play with strangers situation. A little bit, yeah. But I don't think that that's what's going on here, though, because I would imagine that this person has a group that he's been with for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So to kind of go off of what you're saying, what you were saying before, Boo, like, yes, we have a limited time on this fucking earth. Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
Believe me, it haunts me, but. But I don't know, man. It's not that bad, right?
It's
like,
really not.
Sure, I can feel the seconds slipping away at times. Sure, everyone does. But I don't know. There's a lot more to, and maybe this is just the perspective that I have, but at least with this, there's a lot more to appreciate when I get together with my friends, because I'm getting together with my friends no matter what, and I'm there dedicating that time to something that I enjoy, you know? Like, yeah, the rules might take a little while here, but in the long run, it is there to benefit our understanding and benefit the amount of fun we're going to have in the future, you know? Laying the groundwork before we even get started. Because then we can have an easier ride at that point, you know, a lot less bumps. And I mean, maybe again, it might be just because we play this way, but I also don't mind when, you know, we have weeks where we don't play, because I know we're going to get back to it, because we all want to, right? And yes, you know, there are stories of people having groups that, like, dissolve and all of that kind of stuff, and it's happened. I've had it happen. But it's not something that's, like, the end of the world, in a way. Because it's just, it doesn't go away. The ability to play the game, right? And hang out with people that you want to hang out with. So, I don't know, yeah, utilizing the I'm too busy argument is always very strange, because it's just like, yeah, so am I. Okay. I'm sorry that you're even more busy than I am then, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like, that sucks. Right. I really wish that you weren't as busy then. But I don't know why it's come into play in a way, I guess. So I know why it's come into play for you, and that's why you don't do this. So that's fine. Again, there's nothing wrong with you not doing it, because that's how your schedule works. And that's kind of the point of this, I guess, is to explain that. But you're also grouping it in with your earlier statement of it doesn't fix the problems that it's meant to. So you've kind of opened that door with this beginning thing, and it's like, okay.
I am hoping that he's going to elaborate further on that.
Exactly. That's where the meat of this is. Like, yeah, you've laid the groundwork for your situation, but ultimately that part's kind of irrelevant to the actual main topic here, which is it doesn't help. And that's weird. Cuz, like, yeah, okay, anybody can be busy, but that's, again, irrelevant to it not being a good usage of your time, I guess, because it isn't effective, right? Like, that's anyway. My way of thinking is that living forever would mean working forever, and that idea can fuck off. Yes. Agreed. Anyway.
Most groups have a hard enough time finding time to play. Let's not waste one of those evenings on not playing the game. But here's the thing. If people on the internet are to be believed, then without Session 0, players will show up with characters made in private using different methods of generating stats, different editions of the game, playing wildly different genres.
Right, and we can ignore all that because that's ridiculous. So, move on.
Different styles of play. One character is Silas McCoy, the barbarian whose lack of love from his father has instilled in him a crippling sense of self-doubt, while the veteran player showed up with Delilah, the awakened cow, a warlock of Rundvlies, which is just Dutch for beef. God damn it, Ivar. I agree that's not ideal. One of those players is probably about to have a bad time. I don't know, some people love mixing genres. I know I do. Professor Humdinger is my favorite arcane character. But even then, Silas may still feel uncomfortable with Delilah the Awakened Cow. So, people say, do Session 0. Well, Session 0 is a solution, but I don't think it's the only solution. I think what you should do is just talk before you start playing. Radical idea, I know. But how will you talk if not at Session 0?
Okay.
Well, I use Discord. It's current year, we can do a lot through the internet these things, and talking is the least radical thing we could do. Side note, the most radical thing is that one guy playing the recorder in traffic.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that was yeah.
You can use whatever group messaging platform of your choice. I'm from Iceland, and Facebook is huge here. Ugh. But in other countries, I hear WhatsApp is big. I don't know. Use whatever platform is good for your group. Then you post a message describing what kind of game you want to run.
So can I blow your mind here for a second? Is that if you make a group chat with your friends and you start discussing this shit beforehand, that's your Session 0.
Yeah, that's a Session 0.
It's like
it's a very okay.
It's an
let's
informal
even take this a little bit further. You make your group chat in Discord or whatever your fucking social media or contact thing
platform,
of choice. Yes, contact platform of choice. And you send out the message, and then you get like responses trickling in, questions, and then you answer them, and then maybe you get some clarification, blah blah blah. And let's say it takes like a week to get all the details hashed out.
Yeah.
You've now had a week-long Session 0.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So not a Session 0, but an exchange beforehand that is 1 minus 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
right?
one.
Like,
yeah. 1. Yeah. 1 to 1.
So. Yes.
Like so Session 0 is more the nomenclature that we have really like developed, and yes, you don't have to do it as a group. Absolutely you don't. It's just useful. That's all. But guess what? Like you've just pointed out, you can have that group not in person.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that I would say for having it be in person is that you know that everyone is there and you can see that they're all there and understanding.
Yes, because if there are those questions, it can sometimes be easier to speak the answer to a question than type it out. Because when you are typing something, this is something that comes from writing. When you are typing something, you are trying to communicate it to someone else. You have a vision in your head of what you're trying to communicate.
Yep.
And you are trying to instill that, you're trying to transplant your vision in your head into someone else's head.
Yep.
Sometimes it's not that easy.
Yep.
So you have to be very precise and very, not elaborate, but you know what I mean? Yep. You have to type it well. Whereas sometimes it's easier to say that. It's also quicker because if you send a message and then you get a reply days later, and then if you're super busy, like everybody is, you get back to it days later, and they may not have it in their head anymore.
Yep, exactly.
It's just easier to communicate like directly sometimes.
And I think the best part there that you've pointed out is that they might have forgotten after that like period of time before you can get to them. And it's another argument for if you're busy, guess what, you've now scheduled the time that you're all not busy so you can really hash it out. Like, whoa, crazy, but yes, ultimately whatever you call it, this is your Session 0. It's just not an in-person Session 0. So great job. Like you figured out that Session 0 is just about communication, and if you communicate in any way, that's the way that you do it. Whoa,
crazy!
Like I understand that people are so upset that when you say Session 0 is a necessity, that is a absolute, like it is an absolute. And that's something that we should go away from in talking about how we prepare and how we do things and all of that kind of stuff when it comes to this hobby, because it's not the only way. You're right. Absolutely. So but it's something that I feel like most of us can understand, saying, when I say session 0, I just mean talking with your players to set those expectations and that social contract and whatever else you need to, and their characters and everything, just so that they understand and are able to do them and make them, in a way that conforms to the game that you're going to play. And it's like, yeah, great, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's have our individual session 0s.
I feel like multiple times we've seen videos about session 0s and why they're bad or whatever, and blah, 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 blah. They're always just so easy to be like, yeah, this is just normal. Or like, yeah, you're just doing this.
Yeah.
And people just... It's like they want to talk about session 0, but they just kind of forget that session 0 is both incredibly simple and a little bit more complex than you would expect.
Right. And like what
it's really weird.
It's one of those things where people just hear that one example, they see all these examples that people are saying of, I didn't have, like you said, like I didn't have a session 0 and I had fucking 3 different characters that were completely crazy and they didn't fit in. And it's like, well, okay, so yeah, you didn't talk to them at all. Nice, I guess. Like, yeah, that's what happens when you don't communicate whatsoever and everybody comes in thinking their own thing. Absolutely. That is something that happens. But it's not like I don't know, the name session 0 is something you could just drop and say communicate before playing. That's all you need. And then everybody doesn't have a problem.
Yeah.
Like no one has a problem whatsoever. Because it's so simple.
It really is.
But the problem that we've done is that we've made it so that we have an actual name for it so that it can be communicated simply, but people have forgotten what that means.
Yeah.
It was put into place and people just forgot. Or they've just said, yeah, everybody, the meaning was we get together before playing and that is the whole, like our session is that. And that's it. And it's like, okay, so maybe we just need to really reintroduce what it actually is rather than like allowing it to continue on this way, right? Just say session 0 is just a time of communication. It's all you need to do. Doesn't have to be in person, doesn't have to be all together, but you want to communicate with your players beforehand so that nobody is misunderstanding that the world, the story, like everything that is going to come into play, the rules, all that kind of stuff, just making it so that everybody's on the same page. That's it.
Yeah, it's really easy.
Yes.
Barely an inconvenience.
Barely an inconvenience, indeed. Humdinger, so you don't even know the name of your favorite character. It's okay. I think that's more the accent. Yeah, that's fine. So. 1 minus 1 equals 0. Sorry, my jokes involve additional steps. No, you're good.
No, you're fine.
Session 0 is basically just talking. What is going on? Yeah. I can back up Boo on that. Typing stuff out is hard sometimes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Just in general, it's your communication is limited because you're not face to face. That's just true, right? People are going to take things differently because they interpret text differently. It's just how it works. I guess
that's why emojis were invented.
True.
That's why people started doing colon and parentheses to make a smiley face.
Exactly.
Because you can't really communicate like happiness through a text message without saying I say happily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. I guess on some of the message boards, we would put up an interest check on the Out of Character forum where you would describe the campaign idea and what it's about. Some message boards are dedicated to one setting, so everyone's already on the same page, and you can just start. But if the thread is fully self-contained thing, you usually want to organize first. Yeah. And it again, like you said, it's not the only way to do it. It's not. You don't have to do it, like we've said. You don't have to do it. But you do have that risk of people not getting it if they aren't already, like, knowledgeable about it in some way, right? Anyway.
And what kind of characters the players should make. Neither needs to be incredibly complicated or professionally written or anything like that.
True.
Hey, I'm running an adventure in a sort of gothic horror setting. Not short, either. This isn't just a 5-room dungeon, it's a proper campaign. Make me some characters that would belong in Dracula or Van Helsing. And seriously, no awakened cow this time. Also, tell them details about character creation. Make first level characters, use point buy and PHP 2024 only, unless we talk first. Then, and this is the important bit, talk to them throughout this period of time. Ask them what kind of character they're making, their name, their background. Be a part of the character creation process. Don't be a dictator, don't ruin their fun or anything, but do make sure that they're making characters that fit. If you see they're going off in some wild direction, or think it might not gel with the adventure, especially the other player characters, tell them that. Communicate. I frequently have those conversations in private because I want the players to have secrets as they come in. Mostly because I like the stories where players get to...
Okay, so here's the implication now is that Session 0 doesn't allow secrets, where I just immediately go, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, right? Because, I mean, here's the other thing. Say you're having that Session 0 in either in person or over a voice chat.
Sure.
You can always say, so let's say you're doing it in person.
Yeah.
You tell your DM, hey DM, my character is gonna have a secret. I'm gonna text it to you.
Yep. Exactly.
Boom. Done.
Or hey,
and
can I take you aside for a second?
Yeah, that too.
Like,
if you want to be even more secrety.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it over Discord, everybody's talking in the voice chat.
Yep.
And you can say, hey DM, I'm gonna send you something.
Yep.
And then you'd send him the secret.
Yep.
That's it.
Exactly. Like that's happened while we were playing, you know?
Yeah.
Like Brogan has sent me things while we were playing. Like this last session, he was sending me things while we were playing because he was like, can this happen? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, but
yeah,
it was a whole thing just with his characters so that it was just, one, it wasn't in the middle of, what was going on. And two, because, it was something that might come up and be more of a surprise. But like, I don't know. There's not much to say about this other than you can still fucking do secrets, dude. But yeah, do it however you want to, okay? If you think this is an easier way to be secretive, I guess, sure.
Yeah,
we can combine both mediums while in the Session 0 setting of being in person. / I don't know, I'm pretty sure you've done it while playing the game too. Somebody has texted you and said, hey, can this, and this, and this, Yeah. Like, it's the implication. He didn't really say it, but it's the implication, and I hope that at least he says, so you can still do this in the other things, but this is just easier, I think. In which case I would go, okay.
Okay, yeah, this is easier for you. Fine.
Absolutely, yeah, that's fine. Awakened Cow, did I hear that right? Also, Awakened Cow sounds awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
To know each other instead of immediately knowing everything about each other by the end of the first session, or before the first session for that matter. But if you're a DM, or if you don't have time to tease out information, then do this in the group chat so everyone can see what everyone else is making. This way, instead of a Session 0, it's an ongoing conversation for a couple of weeks as the game draws near. No need to carve out a single night. Your players can get invested in character creation on their lunch break, at a boring dinner party, or, God forbid, at work. They can do it when it suits them best, and not just at the same time. It's efficient.
When it suits them best, I'm like, you scheduled out a whole day.
So what you're telling me
so
here
funny.
Is that you would rather have your Session 0 take place over the course of 2 weeks rather than just a night you set aside for it.
That's fine. I've done that. I literally talk to people about characters over a few days. Yeah, because I get to look at all the text and stuff. And all of that if I need to, but also it's just like, but I don't need that,
Yeah.
I can take notes.
Yeah, that's just weird to me.
It's like, it's this weird thing of seeing the forest from the trees, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's just like,
missing the forest.
Missing. But like, yeah, it's literally just, so I don't want to not play. But I also need to communicate with these people. Okay, guess what? Session 0 bad. Now I'm going to talk to my players outside of the game before we started playing.
It's not a session, but it's not a Session 0. Don't call it a Session 0.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, dude, do you know what's going on here, right? Obviously not, I guess. Somehow you've made it so that it sounds like, at least to you, that this is a different thing that you're doing. And I'm just like, Okay.
This is just it's just a different flavor of Session Zero.
Yes,
That's
it is. It is. And again, we don't have to worry about or pay attention to necessarily the crazy stories of people that are on the internet. Okay? Like, I'm sorry,
don't.
but I don't give a fuck about anybody who's ever in a Crit Crab video or any of that kind of shit. I do not care. They do not affect me. Right?
They truly
do
don't.
not, and they probably will not ever be the case necessarily. So, like, and also all the people on Reddit and anybody in any forum, unless I really give a shit, I do not care about what they have to say about anything to do with anything.
Unless it's funny, in which case you'll get a laugh out of it and then fucking walk away.
Unless I give a shit, right? Unless I give a shit, none of that is going to affect me necessarily.
I don't give a shit unless I do.
Yes! Like, it's that simple.
It just sounds funny.
You know? Like, I just don't. Shut up, boss man. I'm trying to make a ranger orc raider over here. That's right.
My God.
I can't work. I'm making my character.
So now, okay.
It's funny.
When he is talking about the Session Zero and taking place over a couple weeks and, doing shit when it, letting your players do shit on their own time and blah, blah, blah.
Which is fine.
I understand this, but really only at the level of we play once every couple months.
Oh, sure.
That's where I'm starting to be like, you know what? Okay, fine. But I mean, again, if you're into this hobby and you're really into this hobby, you really enjoy it, I feel like you can just make some time.
Yeah. Oh, I think so too. I do.
That's
think
the
so
thing.
Well. Like,
if it's important to you, if something is important to you, you fit it in.
Yeah. Yep. It's so, and I will say, of course, that not everybody has that ability. I get that. I understand that. But you've already, like, told me that you're scheduling these out, right? So,
yeah, that's true.
And, like, I get it. You want to play. You just want to play. Sure. Okay. Again, nothing wrong with the way that you're doing it. But again, yes, exactly what Pizza Funk's saying. I feel like he's misrepresenting what a Session Zero is. A little bit. Like, it gives the players time to see what type of character dynamics they may have with other characters. Yes, and that's something that can happen in text, in voice call, whatever, as well. But it's still a Session Zero for all intents and purposes. It's just, he doesn't want to use the name.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. That part is honest funny.
Everybody who's like, I don't want to do a Session Zero. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm like, okay, you don't have to do a specific session to go over all this shit, but you're still going to communicate with them. I understand that is the hang-up. People don't want to get together just to talk about their characters in the world and shit. It doesn't make sense to me, but I understand that that's what people have the hang-up with. That's fine.
To me, that... God damn it. You know what? Now that you fucking reminded me of that... So I recently designed a new monster for one of my adventures.
Yeah.
And you know how I always have I have this fucking hang up. I gotta talk about this now because you brought it up. You brought up learning about the world.
Yeah.
And it fucking gave me a fucking mind goblin. Mind goblin these nuts.
Hey.
So, okay. You know how Call of Cthulhu monsters, they're usually pretty fucking unknowable?
Yeah.
I have the worst fucking habit for this kind of monster because whenever I'm writing something, if I'm designing a place or a thing or a creature or a person, I have to fucking fit them into an ecosystem or give them a believable ecosystem.
Yeah.
God fucking damn it, I'm doing it with Cthulhu monsters, and I'm like, I should not be doing this, but I can't help it!
Yeah.
They're still weird and cool, and they feel Lovecraftian, but I'm like, God damn it, I don't have to do this.
Yeah. I get you. But
I can't help it.
I understand. Yeah, well, to be fair, you can still...
It's fun!
You can still say, like, yeah, this is what it was like for them and whatever they came from, that's why they're here. It's whatever's closest to their particular place.
This is what they are. This is how they live. This is how they grow. And this is what it's trying to do.
Exactly. That's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
But it's like, oh, it's a Shoggoth. It's a giant fucking protozoa. You don't have to do that. But I want to.
Yes, exactly.
I can't stop it.
Well, that's
help me, please.
I'm not the one to do that, man. I think that's great.
I know, right? I know you.
If you're looking for help, I'm the wrong guy.
I know. And I'm like, God damn it.
I love it.
But anyway,
I love it. Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah.
I'll always remember Aiden and Graydon's character ranting about the fantasy IRS in the Devils and Dice Session 0. Yes.
Yeah, dude. Was that where we came up with Hell's Fargo, or was that the campaign?
It might have been. It's been 4 years.
It's been a long time.
It's been over 4 years, man.
Jesus Christ,
can't remember Session 0 that well.
Yeah, me neither. God, one day I'll have to. One day when I'm like fucking 50, I'll have to go back and watch that campaign.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be great.
That'll be weird.
It'll be a little strange, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, I totally support wanting to fit everything into an ecosystem. Yes.
Yeah.
True.
It feels so good to do it.
It does.
It's just because, in Cthulhu, a lot of the shit is supposed to be unknowable.
Yeah.
Like,
but not all of it,
It's true. But even the ones where it's like, oh, the color out of space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get you.
Where, the thing falls out of spoilers for this literally 100-year-old story.
I was gonna say.
Thing falls out of fucking space, it's a meteor, and then the meteor cracks open, it's an egg, and then it's a fucking color inside of it.
Right.
It goes down into a well and starts, quote-unquote, irradiating everything, and it eats it, and it also makes it grow out of control, but it's all fucking poisonous and toxic. It's shitty.
It's cool.
And then once it's absorbed enough life, it fucking leaves.
Yeah, it goes
and then
away.
you never learn anything else about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a name. It is only ever called a color because that's all you can describe it as, and it just kills people and it destroys shit.
Yeah.
You never learn anything about it. But basically every custom monster, with the exception of like 2 so far, have like full fucking life cycles and like reasons for doing what they're doing.
Sure.
And I'm like, God fucking damn it, I don't have to do this for half of these things. And I'm like, am I doing this wrong?
No, man, because immediately I immediately go to the elder things exist. They have a whole history and life cycle and everything that you learn about.
Oh, sure.
And you can get you understand from those kinds of stories that talk about how they're in the Necronomicon, you immediately think, oh, there's a lot of stuff that you could learn about them in the Necronomicon, but if you
that is true.
If you do, you go fucking insane, because it's stuff that you could not imagine or understand. It's there, it exists, but if you try to know it, you're gonna fucking die.
Okay. I don't know what the fuck I just heard.
Yeah.
It sounded kind of like a screech or a
that was my
siren,
cat.
and that was your cat. Okay,
That's one of my cats.
Okay, I heard your cat meow in the background, and it sounded like the very, very beginning of the like high-pitched violin Amogus sound, as you were describing going insane.
Perfect.
And I heard the
Perfect time. Perfect.
God damn it! Who was that? Was that Titania?
No, that was Mab. Mab's the one who screams at me.
Okay. But yeah, that is true. And honestly, half of the shit that I'm writing, you might not ever even learn about them anyway.
Which is totally fine.
It's just there.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. Understandable.
It's like I'm writing portions of a monster manual in like the fucking in the monster descriptions.
It's good for the adventure, because it can then be taken out of the adventure and used somewhere else.
It's true.
Like you're just giving options, and
I'm giving options. Yeah, that's how I need to. That's now how I need to look at it.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, let's hear more about this Session 0 that isn't a Session 0. I promise.
Yeah.
Efficient. And there's a side effect here. You're basically running a little marketing campaign for your adventure. You start the first post by saying what you're running, get everyone thinking, and then another post sharing the opening plot hook. Maybe you dump a load of inspirational art from the adventure in the group chat. And finally, you do a hype post the day of the first session, teasing what's to come. And you can get really creative with this. I make PDF handouts with links and art. I write these snapshot opening blurbs about the world and the stuff in it full of clues to the adventure. Nothing.
Brother, I don't have time. I'm sorry. But also, that's cool. That's fucking cool.
That is cool. Yeah, no, dude. I don't have
I'm glad you can do that, but I don't have the fucking time, brother. I'm sorry.
Christ,
I'm sorry,
fucking rude,
but like when
man.
it's put, I'm sorry, but like when he's putting it out there, what am I supposed to do? But immediately use his words. It's his words. He said the words.
He did say the words. Those were the words that he said.
Those are the words that he said.
Long, a few sentences, but they are loaded with information. You could use the run-up to post details about your world, gods, maps, or whatever you've got. I genuinely think this is better than a Session 0 could ever be.
Sure.
As a part of this run-up to the adventure, you can include safety tools as well. They're an important part of the game, and they'll let everybody at the table communicate what they think is appropriate and what they would like to avoid seeing in their game. There's a great MCDM safety toolkit. I recommend it. Link in the description. And since it's not at Session 0, your players can fill these out in the privacy of their own home without having to air their phobias or triggers in front of everybody else at the table or think about them with others present. One thing I'll do...
We talked about this before as well. You can just have them text you this while you're doing your Session 0. We talked about this specifically, like with all that kind of stuff. If that is something that happens, don't put it in front of everybody if you don't want to. That's fine. It can still be in the Session 0.
Mm-hmm.
My God. That is one hang-up I have about Lovecraft stuff. I don't buy going nuts because you don't understand it, or at least not everyone going nuts. So I understand that it's something that is harder to buy into from the beginning, I guess. But I don't know. There have literally been moments where we have covered Garibay where I could do nothing but laugh, and like I actually like it just I couldn't understand so much / understood enough that I just fucking broke.
Yeah, even with
it has happened. It is live.
Even with it's true. I think collectively we have all lost sanity points watching Garibay videos.
For sure.
And I think it is... So it's less that you don't understand it. And actually, hilariously, that's a mechanic in the game.
Yeah, it is.
And, cool. Where... So in the... At the Mountains of Madness. You've read that one, yes?
It's my
or have you
favorite
not?
one.
Okay, good. So basically, over the course of that story, you follow an expedition down to Antarctica.
Yes,
I think the southern one.
It is. Yes.
Antarctica, and basically they go there to take like rock samples and ice samples and geologic and whatever else they can find there because it was one of the early ones. They go there and they find fossils of things that have never been found before, and they're like, "Holy shit! This is kind of fucking insane. We're taking samples from ice that has literally never been examined before in human history."
In fact, they say it's pre-Cambrian.
Yes. And they find a fossil they find a fossilized elder thing. And they're like, holy shit, what the hell is that? Let's take it back to camp and examine it. And even after thawing it out, knives cannot cut through its flesh, even though the flesh is, like pliable
plant-like
stuff. Yes, it is plant-like, and like it is no longer the flesh is no longer frozen, and the knives cannot cut through them. Surgical knives cannot cut through it.
Yes,
and they discover that it is an animal that is both mammalian, and plant. Somehow. It is a form of life that is completely unheard of in all of human history.
Yes.
And then, after that, people start going missing, and that elder thing vanishes.
Yes. That and,
And
I want to say 13 others.
yes, 13 others go missing.
Yeah.
And then they eventually fly over at the Mountains of Madness, and they find the greatest city of the Elder Things that was left above ground. And it's a city that is like the size of a small continent. It's like a city not continent, small island.
Yeah.
Basically, think if the entirety of Madagascar,
Yeah.
or the entirety of some of the larger New Zealand-ish islands was an entire city.
Yeah.
And they go down and they learn so much about the Elder Things that it literally turns all of human history on its head. Literally.
So Timothy, you said, yeah, but you didn't delete the channel and run off into the woods screaming after watching Garibay, dude. Plus, I feel laughing when you had no words is different than going insane, at least to me. So, yeah. So, yes, I did not do that, and yes, it's a little different, absolutely. But if you were understanding that your place in the world is nothing, as opposed to us as humans beings believing that we are quite literally the apex species, the most intelligent thing out there and everything. And like, you have it confirmed. You have that confirmed. You have it confirmed that things existed that were far superior, that were nothing like humans, that just created humanity as a joke.
As an accident.
Accident or jest is what the quote is.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was accident or jest.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's even worse.
Yes. And this is confirming it to you, who knows what everything is, at least in reality as it is right now. I feel like that would do something to you, you know? Like, yes, you wouldn't necessarily potentially go insane screaming into the woods and all that kind of stuff. It could be something that rocks you to your foundation and your beliefs, right? Because not all of the protagonists or anything do go completely insane. The Dunwich Horror is another one of my favorites.
Yes.
And the Dunwich Horror has a group of professors who confront the thing. I won't go too into detail, but they confront the thing, and they don't go mad. They don't go completely insane. They do go against it and see it for what it is.
And they succeed.
So they don't always go screaming into the woods and all that kind of stuff. It's just something that changes your viewpoint a lot of the time.
You can think of it... Sorry.
I was going to say, but those who are not as strong-willed and cannot accept that reality is not the way that it is would be the ones who are going screaming into the woods and all of that kind of stuff.
And there's also the thing is, when you think of the word insane in Call of Cthulhu, in both the game and usually in the books, you can kind of think of insane as a kind of a spectrum.
Yes.
Where at the very, very end of it, you have, like screaming, raving mad.
Yes.
Completely inconsolable, and you're just out of your mind. And then you can have the insane that is, you're still completely, you can completely function as a member of society. You are not dangerous, you do not scream and cry or run away from stuff, but your mind is effectively broken.
Yeah.
Which is weird to think, but you can think of it, this might be a good example of this. Let's say you have a big family. Let's say there's you, your family, and then you have two sets of cousins.
Sure.
Let's say that all of these family members get together every Christmas and, you do holiday stuff. Now, let's say that one day, before this Christmas gathering, you happen to learn that one of your cousins, who you really love and is a genuinely nice person, has murdered a dozen people and was never caught. So You now have this fact in your head. You can't share this fact with anybody. And you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that this is the truth.
Yes.
When you get together with that family member, you're not going to be able to let that fact go. It's going to be in your head. It's going to be in there. It's going to be wiggling.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be itching. It's going to be always in the back of your head. There's that. You can't do anything.
Yep.
But you know. That's part of it.
Yeah. The knowledge.
That is a big part of what Cthulhu insanity, quote unquote, is. You can also think of it kind of like in the Shadow over Innsmouth, where the main character doesn't go insane.
No.
Not immediately.
Yeah. Well.
He sees all the deep ones. And he does have a freak out, but after that, he functions completely fine. Basically, he faints at seeing them.
Exactly.
He faints, then when they wake up, their deep ones are gone, but now he knows that the deep ones are real, they are underwater, and they could rise up at any moment and literally wipe out all of humanity.
Yep.
You can just imagine knowing a fact like that for certain. Think of it, this is another really good one. Nuclear war.
Yes.
Nuclear Armageddon.
Mm-hmm.
There are people, because nuclear war is an undeniable possibility.
Yes.
It's very, very, very low, thank fuck. But it is a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people who have gone fucking nuts knowing that.
Yes.
And understandably so. The world could literally be wiped off. Humanity could be wiped off the face of the map permanently, forever, because of a misunderstanding at night.
Mm-hmm.
World War III was almost started by a bear climbing the fence over into an American Air Force base once.
Yep.
That's a true fact.
Yep.
Because they thought that it was a Soviet spy.
Mm-hmm. It's
so yeah,
and like you're saying there, true point, but that might happen with anything in fantasy. If anything in fantasy was real, not just Lovecraft, if a kaiju-sized talking dragon showed up, it would change how you see the world, right? Yes, anything could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So Lovecraft and Lovecraftian horror and cosmic horror all focus on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
While fantasy and everything doesn't, usually, right?
Yes.
Everything is accepted because it's part of the world. It's not
Yes.
necessarily that it's real or anything. Or, sorry, it is real in their world, so they don't question it. But for this genre of horror, it's if you understood that your reality was completely different than what you thought it was, that's what it focuses on, usually. And so, yeah, I understand that it could be that way for anything else, but that doesn't take away from the fact that if it was, it'd be bad sometimes.
See, the other reason why in fantasy it doesn't tend to happen is because in fantasy, a lot of the characters are... excuse me. There are two reasons. One, there are known powers in the worlds of fantasy, usually, whether it's magic or, steampunk technology or the gods or whatever. There are known powers that humanity are both used to and can utilize to fight back against things like that. And the other thing is that the characters tend to be relatively powerful. Yeah. So, they can do stuff. Yep. Sometimes. Usually.
Sometimes,
and also the fact that, let's say a dragon in fantasy is also usually a person as well.
Yeah, it's usually something.
They have personalities they can be reasoned with. You can learn their motivation. And they oftentimes, because they are people, they don't really want to just wipe out all life on the planet because they just, woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Right.
Not usually anyway.
Usually.
Sometimes they do.
Yeah.
But, we don't talk about them. Whereas in Call of Cthulhu, you don't have that.
Yeah.
You're not special.
Exactly.
You're alone. Humanity is a speck of dust in space. and you are in a completely neutral, if not outright hostile universe, and you are weak.
Mm-hmm.
You are not powerful. You are extremely fragile.
Mm-hmm.
A deep one can shred a human in a single turn, if you want to get mechanical about it.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
And you're also, one more thing about it, is that typically, Call of Cthulhu, the classic setting for Call of Cthulhu is the 1920s.
Yes.
Which was a relatively happy and bubbly time,
Sure.
at least in America. So to have these horrors get shoved down the throats of these relatively happy, innocent people, that's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not prepared for something, if you walk into your home at night and you stumble upon a horrific murder scene,
yeah,
it's
it'll do something to you.
It does something to you.
Yeah.
And here's the at the very end of this, Timothy, don't worry. If you don't really like the fact that Lovecraftian stuff has people going nuts, then completely fine.
Yeah, for sure.
It's completely fine.
Yep.
If you don't like that, then
yeah.
But that is at least the reasons why it tends to happen.
Yeah, and just wanted to at least give you the understanding that we have.
Yes, don't. I hope you didn't take that as us like trying to like be mean or be like, actually,
no.
Absolutely
yeah,
that is not what we're intending.
Just trying to put it into words, I guess.
Yes, because you probably could tell I'm very passionate about it. It's my favorite form of fiction.
Yeah.
I got my second tattoo specifically while I was writing one of my more recent stories.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, I like to share the things that I love,
mm-hmm.
and if it's a misunderstanding, I hope to just correct it.
Yeah.
If or to at least, you know what I mean.
We are not Reddit, exactly. Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were laughing at me.
No, not you. Sorry. No,
yeah. If it is a misunderstanding, I hope to just provide more information. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's always the point of talking about these kinds of things. We want to convey the information that we at least possess, so that hopefully it can be a better understood subject.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully. Now, here's the other thing. I do like the idea that in fantasy dragons could, a kaiju-sized dragon could fucking show up all of a sudden, and change your worldview. It's like, holy shit, there's like big fucking lizards around here, and we're on like the bottom of the food chain compared to them.
Yep.
We can't do shit. It's basically, isn't that effectively kind of like Game of Thrones? It's a little bit like that, and that's why they wipe them all out almost.
In a way. It's kind of, yeah.
I never watched it. I never read it, so I
haven't read it. So
I just know that they put a lot of effort into killing dragons at one point.
Oh yeah. That was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, with other things and all that, it's just like, yeah. I mean, they aren't used in that way, and that's fine. And if if you're looking for something that could genuinely be something that evokes that emotion in you, it's cosmic horror and Lovecraftian horror and all that kind of shit, the loneliness and horror parts I get. I guess I just don't buy something being totally not understandable, but you help point out things better. No worries. All right. Well, there you go.
That's completely fair.
Yeah, that's to be fair. If you can't understand that something could be unable to be understood, that is fair enough, right?
Yes.
Like,
you know what?
In our reality, things are able to be understood.
It's very hard to understand things that are not meant to be understood.
Exactly.
Because that's kind of the point.
That's the whole point. Exactly.
If you have never read it, or listened to it, I actually recommend that you listen to it rather than read it, because when I read it, I didn't really get these same feelings. I actually really recommend that you listen to the Call of Cthulhu if you haven't already. Because that is one of the ones that gives me I love that one so much, because through the course of the story, it basically describes multiple Cthulhu cults all around the world, ramping up in activity as shit goes down.
Yeah.
But it eventually gets to this point where you start feeling so much dread by implication.
Mm.
And it's really, really good. And honestly, it's gonna sound like I'm gonna sound like I'm recommending a meme. I'm not. I highly recommend that you find the one where Dagoth is narrating it. And I'm not. God damn it. I'm not actually joking. Because he has his voice is perfect for it. So if you find it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
I would say like look up Call of Cthulhu narrated by Dagoth and you might even be able to find ones with ambience, which is just like the sound of like ocean, shit like that.
Yeah.
Adds to it a bit.
Yeah.
And that horror by I did listen to Call of okay. Fair enough. Then if you don't get it from that, then that's completely fine. But yeah, I really, really loved the horror by it, or implication that one gives. It's really, really excellent.
Yeah, the only one that's ever given me a chill, like a genuine chill, was when I listened to Whisper in the Darkness. That was the only one that's ever done it to me.
Whisper in the Darkness. That was the Migo,
yes. Yeah, it's the Migo one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I listened to that one. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
You need to watch listen to Out of the Eons.
I do. Yes, that's
you need
true.
To listen to that one. That one's also done by Dagoth. And yeah, I heard about that. The Darkest Dungeon voice actor passed.
Yeah, I've been listening to him going through the Mountains of Madness, so I've got that in my head pretty fresh.
I see.
It's very
he
good.
Did the audio.
Yeah,
I see.
It's very good, and it sucks that I'm sad for him being dead. He's got a great voice.
Yeah.
I only know him from Darkest Dungeon, unfortunately. I don't know if he's been in anything else that's major, but he definitely has that audiobook, so
yeah.
I would recommend that if you want to hear him talk about the expedition to Antarctica that happens there.
I listened to it again recently, so I'll have to pass for now.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
But maybe another time.
But yeah, no, it's one of my favorites. I very much enjoy how technical everything is, and then when he gets to the actual thing, it's just like, well, it's great. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
anyway, we spent enough time on that enough. Let's finish this.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, I like talking about.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a lot more interesting than this isn't a session zero, I promise.
But totally isn't.
But it totally
is. Like cross his fingers behind my back.
Right.
This isn't a session zero.
Thanks, guys, for being yourselves. It's so much fun to talk about stuff here. Oh, of course.
Well, good.
No,
good. I'm glad we didn't come across like we were like, no, you're wrong.
Right.
This is why.
No, absolutely not. If like having a conversation about things is how we come to better understandings, and unless I'm actually upset at somebody, I'm not gonna like be condescending or anything when I'm talking to them about it, or at least I don't.
I know
it's
just
be.
you know disagreements on the internet.
Oh
you know how it is.
I know. Argumentation.
Arguments. It sounds so argumentative.
It sounds so negative. This argument. It's like, all right, come on. Let's just come on. Anyway.
If you played Phoenix right, you would know that it's not.
That's right.
I need to pick up the fucking Apollo and
I gotta
Edgeworth Investigations. They're on sale right now, I think.
Oh, are they? Oh shit.
Yeah.
I don't have money for them right now. Fuck. Oh well.
Yeah, I don't think I do either.
Fair. Anyway.
Do as a part of the run-up to an adventure is an investment questionnaire. It's a handful of
40%
questions
off!
I ask.
Oh yeah. Fair enough.
It's $30 for the Ace Apollo trilogy.
Apollos. Oh my god. Yeah. So can I just say now that we're getting back onto this, you can do all this shit with the session zero as well. You can just do that. It's fine. Like you can make all this stuff beforehand of like the handouts and everything. Like, it's just a part of what you can do for the actual session. Like, again, whether or not it works better for you doing it this way or doing it in the actual session zero, that's up to you and your table, and you figure that out for yourself. But at the end of the day, I want this to be stressed. This point to be stressed is that a session zero does not necessarily mean getting together in person, doing all of this stuff as the session. That's not what it should be. It should mean anymore. And if we're going to change that, we need to actually utilize it in the way that we want it to be understood as, which is communicate with your players before you start your campaign.
Yeah.
Like,
So
the bare minimum is just communicate with them in some way, I guess.
yeah, I wonder what we should call it, like pre-game comms or something.
Yeah, like literally, it's just
because I know these fucking alphas and zoomers can't fucking handle 3 words with multiple syllables in them.
We can keep session 0. It's fine. We just need to change the understanding of it to not be so literal, you know?
Yes.
Because it never really was. I mean, it was at a point, I guess, but that was because the internet wasn't so apparent and so prevalent, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And since COVID, now that we can say that without YouTube fucking throwing the ban hammer at you for anything, since COVID, it's become incredibly obvious that it's such a useful way to communicate with each other, regardless of, distance. I mean, it's always been, but it really cemented it in for everybody, and that it can be used as your platform for a session 0. But also that just in general, communication is like one of the main things that we all as humans need.
Yeah.
So like
it's kind of how our society has gotten to the point that it has.
Yes, exactly. So all we need to do is say a session 0 just means communicate with your players beforehand.
Yeah.
That's all.
And in our case, it means that we set aside a session and we do it that way.
Yeah, exactly. And in other people's, like this person's case, you talk to them over a week before you get going with your campaign. Hell, it could even be a month. Hell, it could be a year if you want it to. Or it could be a couple of days. It could be whatever time you want. 10 minutes before you start.
We could never play the game!
Exactly!
Yo!
Exactly! We could just
never start! You can't be disappointed for not playing the game if you never start playing the game!
That's the way!
God damn it.
Pre-arcing, yeah, fair enough, I guess,
Oh, wait, no, okay. So, you know what? It would just be a prequel.
Yeah, really.
Campaign prequel.
The prequel to the campaign, yeah, for
it's
sure.
The solo of D&D.
Go on.
It's Disney.
No.
It's Disney D&D.
Oh,
going
God.
back and explaining scars of Scar.
Right. Oh, God. Did they do that? No.
Yes.
I didn't pay attention to it at all. I didn't want to know.
No, dude. So I only learned that because of the fucking what is it? The Ryan George pitch meeting.
Pitch meetings. Okay.
Yeah, because it's like, his name is this, and he's gonna get a scar later in the movie, and then he's gonna forget that he has a name and get called Scar.
What? No.
Yes. So Scar and Mufasa are brothers.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And Scar originally had a name. It's like Mojave or something. I don't fucking remember. Mahabo. The pre-order bonus of D&D. Fuck all the way off. Piece of fuck. Anyway.
It's very funny.
At least it's better than most pre-order bonuses.
Woo.
Anyway. So Mufasa and Mojave, they go off and they do shit.
Yeah.
And then in the final scenes of the movie, there's a big fight and Scar gets Mojave gets his scar, and then so that way in the actual Lion King movie, Mufasa never calls his own brother by his name. He only ever calls him Scar.
Why? I'm so glad
they had to explain it.
No, I'm so glad those movies just don't exist. They do not exist. No.
Everybody wanted to know where he got the scar.
No one fucking cared. Everybody
wants to know why Solo was named.
Oh God. No, everybody wanted to know. No, sorry. Everybody got up in arms that they didn't have a villain song in the fucking 2019 remake, okay? That's what everybody cared about. But then they went, no, don't worry, we put it in the song. And then they put in this shitty fucking just speaking like thing, like rhythmic speaking that it doesn't work because it's fucking lions that don't emote. And 2, it doesn't make any sense given that they changed how the hyenas work in fucking 2019. So no... like
What do the hyenas do?
they're led by some different character and like this different hyena, and it's more of like this weird. They weren't together the whole time in the sense of Scar wasn't with their group until that
They're
movie
not
happens.
Nazis anymore.
That's right. Yes, no goose stepping at all. Nothing happens.
Bullshit.
Yeah, no
Cowards.
I know. Yes, it is. They are. But like legitimately, there's so much wrong with that fucking movie. Lion King, the Lion King, original Lion King is one of my favorite, like, classic Disney movies.
Yes.
It is fantastic. I rewatched it. I have a 4K copy of it. It goes way faster than I remember. Like, it's actually, like, fucking goes, man. It does not waste time, and it all works. You know?
Entropy? Can we find out how Cool Hand Luke got his
Anyway, that's a whole nother fucking thing. I hate modern
cinema.
No, not the entirety of it. I hate the modern what is it? I guess it's not the word I'm looking for, but the modern movies that are based on the franchise movies that are culturally impactful.
Like franchise prequels.
All of this, well, they're doing it with all of the franchises because they need to do it with all of them. But that's, like, there are so many movies out there, so, you know, go watch things that aren't anything like this shit, right? Consumerism, exactly.
Go back to the 80s.
Yeah, honestly, like, when we were
80s movies.
We were talking with Brogan not too long ago, talking about stuff, and I said this in the begining, that I went back and watched Unforgiven and Red Dawn. Older movies.
Yeah, Red Dawn, yep.
Older movies, pretty good. I would recommend them for you to watch. And, like, Brogan was talking about how he watched some of the older, like, 80s movies and stuff and was really appreciating how creative they were because of their budgetary limitations that they had to work with. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot to be said about that. It's very cool. And all of those movies still exist, and you can go watch them, and you should, because they're good. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Yeah, and well, two things. One, if the movies aren't super good, they're probably still relatively enjoyable.
Yeah.
And
I would say
two, many of those movies at this point can be found on the high seas.
It's true. I like it
because they're not selling them anymore.
Not a lot of them. And if you can get a physical copy of a lot of these older movies, like, you should, because then no one can take that away from you.
Dude, I own a collection. I own all of the Twilight Zone.
Oh,
and I own the original Twilight Zone.
Oh shit! Yeah. I watched a couple of those, and I actually really like them.
They're so good.
Yeah.
I also own a master collection of the Looney Tunes, which is like 300 different episodes of the Looney Tunes.
What? That's awesome.
And I own many Godzilla movies.
Oh yeah, same. Yeah.
And I also own every single James Bond movie.
Oh wow.
Oh no, sorry, all of the Connery Bond movies.
Oh wow, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
It's so
dude. I went out of my way to get all of House on DVD, or not DVD, on Blu-ray. I got the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy enhanced editions in 4K. Like, yeah, they're there and they're fucking great. I
also own all of Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. That's the crown
That's great. Yeah, I literally bought all of Columbo on DVD.
Yo,
because it's great. Columbo is great.
It's really good.
Yeah, I plan on expanding my collection with a bunch of things that I really enjoy, because I don't want to worry about streaming services going, hey, you can't fucking watch this because it's on 37 other ones instead of right here, because we're doing TV again. Don't forget, we're doing TV again. Cable is back, baby, and it's streaming services.
Yep.
And we wanted to get away from that, but we couldn't. It's fine.
Yeah,
you can stop it. I hate Alejo. True. I find I find it weird. Some people call it the live action version when it's just boring CGI, because a lot of the US looks down on 2D animation for stupid reasons. Yes, I know it sucks. I hate it. Okay, John. This has become a whole. Jon Favreau has no idea what he's doing anymore. He's fucking got his head up his ass and he's high on his own farts. I swear to God. This man has no fucking clue. In his fucking things about The Lion King. If you've seen the YMS video, you know this, okay? The YMS video is so good. So good. And fucking we don't want to make, like, animators are tempted to make beautiful skies, but that's not realistic. And I'm over here like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he goes into how they took literal pictures in Africa and used them as references, and the skies are fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
God.
And then you have all of these fucking kids react and all this kind of stuff saying, yeah, it's the live action version. Yeah, it's the live action version. Well, I don't know if they're gonna, like, I guess if we can't classify it as an animated movie, we call it a live action version. I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? Who are you? What is going on?
God. I hate that fucking, like, willful ignorance.
I don't okay, so where I need to, so
yeah, no.
2D animation is
off, King.
fan fucking tastic. 2D animation is one, a highly skillful profession, and two, is timeless because of how they do it. Yes, I will say, of course, like the very early movies are a little more dated, but they still look great, and you can still see
look good.
Everything that's going on. Like
2D animation is almost exactly the same as fucking practical effects.
Yes, in that way, yes. And one of my favorite Christmas movie now is Klaus. I don't know if any of you out there have watched it. It was a Netflix original. And it's completely 2D animated. I think hand-drawn, actually 2D animated. And it's fucking beautiful. And it's good! and that's the best part, is that it's both of those things. But, like, legitimately, it's so sad to me that I don't think a lot of people... I mean, I hope that a lot of people saw it, and that it made whoever made it successful enough to maybe do something else. But, like, fucking hell. 3D animation is good. It's good as a compliment. It's good on its own. Pixar has proven this, right?
Yes.
It doesn't replace 2D animation. It doesn't replace live action. The best fucking forms of it that I have seen are either completely in the 3D scenarios, like WALL-E. WALL-E is fan-fucking-tastic as a movie. It's my favorite Pixar movie. And then, I mean, obviously, Toy Story still looks great. It's a little dated here and there because of the CGI and everything, but the Toy Story is still great. It still looks good. It's not, like, fantastic, but it looks good. Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, they're all very good movies. Finding Nemo, fucking, like, early Pixar shit, right? Good Pixar shit. We don't need to talk about anything that they're doing now, but good Pixar shit is still good. And then you have things like Jurassic Park, utilizing CGI in a way that makes it look good because, and yeah, you can still see the flaws here and there. It's not perfect. Of course it's not perfect, but it's believable, right? And they utilized practical and CGI together to make it so that it really blended in, okay? It's fantastic. CGI is good, but the over-reliance on it to make up for a lack of talent in writing and a lack of creativity a lot of the time is the bad part about it. But again, it's not a replacement for anything. It is just another art form. And the people that are like, hey, 2D, it's over now. Kids don't want it. Those are the people, Disney especially, that put these 2D animated movies against the, like, really big things at the time that were in the theaters, and they wanted them to fail. I don't know, like, I think it was Princess and the Frog. That was, like, one of the most, that was, like, the last one that was like pretty popular and 2D, and they put it against some other things. I can't remember what it is at the time. And I watched Princess and the Frog, and while I think it's good, it's a good movie. There's a couple of things that I'm like, but it's a good movie. But like, I don't see how that thing would have failed had it been given a fair shot.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's actually great. Like, in a lot of places. And like, a lot of things that I could go back and watch like 101 Dalmatians, the original.
Oh.
Holy shit, that thing looks great.
But wait a minute. Don't you want to learn about Cruella DeVille's backstory?
God, fuck me.
Oh,
It's the meme. Hey, why does Cruella hate Dalmatians? Because her mother was killed by Dalmatians by literally drop kicking her off a cliff.
Wait a minute. No, please. That actually...
You go look it up right the fuck now.
No way.
Cruella, mother, drop kicked Dalmatian. I swear.
How the fuck? How do you spell Cruella?
Cruella, I want to say.
Okay, yeah, Cruella.
Oh,
mother,
fuck me.
Mopther, mother.
Oh, fuck me.
Death scene.
Yep, that's the one.
Oh dear. Oh my god, no. Holy shit. Okay, wait. This is gonna be great. Yeah, Dalmatians. Yeah, they're all big scary. Please. He actually did. He literally jumps up and kicks her. It's not a drop kick.
It's not, but you know, it's the same effect.
God.
But in that fucking movie.
That's hilarious.
But
okay, wait a minute, hang on. Okay, so the video that I saw was 22 seconds long.
That's all you need.
Cruella 2021, Cruella's mom killed by Dalmatians, mother death scene.
Yeah.
The description, Cruella's mom killed by Dalmatians scene. Cruella funny scene. Cruella best scene.
Yeah, it's such a, like, that's the, okay, if you're making the Cruella story, right, and you want to explain this, that's the meme answer that you give of why she hates Dalmatians, right? That's the joke. That's not what you put in the fucking movie, okay? And also, that whole movie is a mess. Man, I've seen the whole fucking thing.
Most of modern Disney is.
I know. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely correct. But it's just like they don't characterize her like as a bad person. They misunderstood, right? Like, and she's horrible to Jasper and Horace, the two thief guys, right? And in that movie, I fucking feel for them because they're just in a bad situation that she just makes worse. And then at the end, she's like, but we're family though. And they're like, no, all's forgiven. It's the worst because they have a moment where they're like, no, we're not going to fucking help you anymore. We're not going to fucking help you anymore. You're a bitch. You're an absolute bitch to us. Like, it's horrible how you treat us. And she's like, but I will, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, okay. She said family. It's like, fuck you, Disney. You could have had a scene. You could have had a moment.
But no.
It's the worst scene in the movie because they just completely destroy the characters right then and there that you can actually like for a while. Those are the only two characters that you can enjoy in that movie. And you can barely enjoy them. More Jasper than Horace, I think. The taller one than the other guy. But like,
and you know, Pizza Funk also brought up something that reminded me of something.
Yeah.
A lot of the early animated stuff have actual watercolor paintings for their sceneries and backdrops.
It's so good.
That reminded me of the fact that Tom and Jerry, you might not have ever really actually noticed it if you were watching it when you were younger, but many of the episodes in Tom and Jerry, like just moments of animation where there's not much loudness going on, they just have classical music playing.
Yes. Yeah,
and like, and when I mean like classical, I'm talking like Mozart.
Yeah.
And other stuff. And what's very funny and ironic is that my all-time favorite piano composition is Valse Brillante by Chopin, Francois Chopin.
Okay.
And I love that.
Yeah.
It's so it's so bubbly and happy, and it's so good. But that song plays during an episode of Tom and Jerry.
That's neat.
And honestly, you might actually, when I describe the scene, you might actually remember the scene, if not the song. It is the one where Jerry is living with the bird in the birdhouse, like way up at the top end of a pole in the backyard, and Tom gets like these paper and wood wings, and he starts flying around the backyard. He's like circling the fucking...
I remember that.
And it plays the song during that.
Okay.
I'm like, oh. So that's another big bonus for 2D animation. There are lots of these. There's a fair amount of quiet moments. In 2D animation, because back then people actually had attention spans.
That's I don't know. Yeah, with that and everything, I don't know, man.
Yeah, fucking the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, CG, mwah! Davy Jones, David Johns,
David John himself. Yep,
dude, the beard.
It was pretty fucking sick.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
All the fish guys.
It's been a while since I've seen 2 and 3. I rewatched 1 and I was like, yeah, this movie isn't for me really anymore. You know?
Oh, not a fan of the whole kind of like swashbuckling shit.
Like I like that.
It is long.
Yeah, I like that, but it just I don't know. A lot of it I was just like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of it that is like about Will and Elizabeth, I think her name was.
I've recently begun to notice that what's his name? Fucking Will's actor. I can't remember his name. You know,
Orlando Bloom.
Yes, Orlando Bloom. He's kind of like the worst actor in everything that he's in.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. I mean, he's very meh.
He is nothing usually. You know, he's just kind of there.
He was the pretty boy.
He was the pretty boy at the time. Yes, exactly.
He was Legolas, where he could kind of. Legolas was unfortunately a touch wooden.
Yes,
but
I
mean,
for sure.
You know,
he's one of the worst parts of the movie, but that's not like an indictment, really.
Yeah,
it's more just like it. Just in general, yeah, it's the quality.
Oh yeah, Draco cracking all this, and we'll never get a live action Atlantis.
Thank God.
I don't want. You know what? Fucking, I don't want it.
No, I don't want it.
The Atlantis movie was so good.
I don't. Yeah, they like. Remember when? Okay, we're so far off right now, but like, remember when?
Fuck it. We're not talking about Session Zero.
Yeah, not at the moment. But like, remember when the worst thing that you could have happen to your favorite like Disney franchises was they got a shitty sequel, like a direct to DVD shitty sequel.
Yeah,
that was it.
Dude, was Road to El Dorado Disney or was that Pixar?
I think. Oh well, they're owned by the same, but like, I don't remember.
Like the original one.
Yeah. I don't remember. Hold on.
Because I just don't want them to make a live action of that and ruin Chell, dude. Let me have my Spank material. God damn.
I doubt that they would.
Do not ruin her for me. Holy shit.
DreamWorks. DreamWorks. Yeah, DreamWorks Universal.
Okay, good.
So don't worry about that.
Please leave her alone.
Don't worry about that.
I need my brown mommy. Please.
Fair enough. But like, speaking of, DreamWorks, Shrek is good as CGI.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I never heard of it at all. I know.
Yeah, I know.
Now, to be fair as well,
it's all ogre now.
Shrek is good, and Shrek 2 is good, and Shrek 3 I think was the one that fell off a bit, and then 4 was pretty good as far as I have been told. I'm not a big Shrek guy myself, but I am like, yeah, this is good. This is good shit. Good.
It is good shit.
Good job for doing this interesting subversion with the story.
And then
good job.
They came back and made fucking Puss in Boots 2.
I hear that's so good, and I need to watch it.
Apparently, it's fucking incredible.
Yeah, I know.
And somebody put so what you should, if you're not gonna watch
I'm
the
gonna
whole
watch
movie,
it. Oh, I'm gonna watch it.
you're gonna watch?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure. That's on my list. Yeah.
So there is, I won't spoil anything,
yeah.
but there is a final fight, and somebody put the theme from fucking Jetstream Sam over that fight, and it's pretty fucking great, dude.
I bet, dude. I absolutely bet.
And the video, it's on YouTube. I fucking ripped that shit off YouTube.
Oh, yeah,
because
fair.
it's good.
Yeah.
And it is called "You Deny Your Boots Their Purpose."
That's so good.
It's really good.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's definitely one that I was debating whether or not to watch that when I was watching a couple of movies the other day, because I was just like, well, maybe I'll watch that because it's finally gonna be time for me to see this apparently really good movie.
Yeah,
it's Puss in
Ants
Boots.
versus A Bug's Life.
You know? Oh, yeah.
A Bug's Life.
Bug's Life for sure. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Ants,
A Bug's Life.
I watched both, and Ants sucks.
Yeah, dude.
Not
so,
good.
I really love Hopper.
Oh,
in
Hopper
that
was
movie.
great. Yeah.
Hopper was so good
because
it's such an interesting Disney villain.
Yeah.
Or DreamWorks villain, whatever.
No, it's Disney. Disney. Or Pixar.
Oh, Disney, okay.
Pixar, yeah.
It is such an interesting Disney Pixar movie villain to be like, we are technically nothing.
Yeah.
We suck.
Yeah.
We could be overpowered by them. We have to scare them.
Exactly.
We have to make them think they're less than us.
Yeah.
I love it. There is a video, I think it's called One Villainous Scene, and it's about Hopper and when he has the nuts like flow out of the big bottle and like kill one of the guys.
Yeah.
It's great.
Dude, oh man, I should rewatch that movie. Man, it's been a while since Bug's Life.
Hopper's good,
Yeah,
and
man.
I like the bird.
Bugs
You know what the other thing you need to watch one day?
Yeah.
Rango.
Oh, I've seen Rango, dude.
Oh,
Rango's
good.
great.
Okay, good. You have seen.
Yeah.
Rango's great.
Rango is great.
Dude, Rattlesnake Jake's
Yeah,
fucking sweet.
Rattlesnake Jake for sure. Yeah,
I would love to play a game in that.
Yeah, man.
Like another furry campaign, sign me up.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
God damn it.
It's so good. Like, legitimately, Rango is great. It's like super good. Holy fuck. Yeah, man. And I think we had it as a family on DVD, which was great.
Nice.
It's probably still at my mom's house.
Based.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. There's so many good fucking films from
Jonathan Depth.
Yes, exactly. Like, legitimately great fucking films that used to be made, like, and you would always know that the quality was there. How far they have fallen.
Also, F this video, it was boring and 1 a.m.
Lame.
And lamb. Or 1 a.m., I can't tell.
Yeah.
I want to talk about my childhood.
Oh,
Fair.
yeah. I understand that. Yeah, for sure. I will say that we only have like 2 minutes left of this, so we should at least finish it out.
Yeah, let's at least
Like,
finish it,
yeah.
shall we?
Ask the players to think about and answer before the first session. Ideally, they do this privately with me, but you could choose to do this in the open too. All the questions are about the upcoming adventure and act as a way to help players flesh out their characters. Not just from a backstory perspective, but as a way for them to identify a character's core beliefs, their morals, how they approach or think about the world. This works especially well with pre-written adventure modules, or if you're running a standalone adventure. You ask leading questions with the intention of having the player form opinions about the upcoming story in the adventure. When you know what the themes of your adventure are, ask questions about them. What do you think about the Empire? What's worse, magic or the gods? Do the ends justify the means? You can also use this to improve pre-written adventures. Let's say you're running Tomb of Annihilation. Make the questions something that will motivate the characters to go solve the death curse. Do you know someone who's been resurrected? What do you think about magic that resurrects the dead? If it's Wild Beyond the Witchlight,
Actually, I watched an actual play of that specific module for a little bit. That
Tomb of Annihilation.
yes, that the one of the main characters who was in the party was somebody who was resurrected because of the curse. So that was the whole thing, which was neat.
I take it that character wound up dying at the end of it if they
I don't know. I didn't keep up with
dispel it or something.
Yeah, I didn't keep up with it, so I don't know. I don't even know if that's part of what that adventure is. I've never looked into it because I was like, this is neat. They've got dino races, and that's all I cared about.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there are literal like horse races, but for dinosaurs.
Oh
yeah,
I'm simultaneously happy and disappointed because I heard dino races and I'm like, you're telling me I could play as like a triceratops?
Oh
man?
yeah, I get you. Yeah.
But also racing a triceratops is pretty fucking sweet.
It was cool.
Yes, Sinchara, yes.
This person does not have the voice that my mind thinks he should. Oh yeah, fair enough.
It's very much like a Pro ZD voice.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
do not expect him to have that like really bassy deep voice.
Yeah.
Things plot hook into the questionnaire. What did you lose? How are you different without it? How far are you willing to go to get it back? Don't be afraid to make your questions dramatic. Make them evoke some strong emotions and inspire some serious drama. All of this is to say that I think Session Zero solves a problem that does need solving. Talking about character creation, information about the game, setting materials,
so going back
tools,
on
etc.
But
I don't think it's a good way to solve it. I think a better way is through text communication before the game starts. This allows you to create a marketing runway.
Specifically text? Come on.
That's weird to me.
Like, I assume that can't be, like, the be-all, end-all of it. I really don't think that you would say that is. Because that's
so strange
that's
to
silly.
Yeah.
It would be silly to say that, but I
that is
understand
very strange that that's coming from a DM of 10 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Hype up your players and release material periodically. This also serves as a motivator for you as you prepare. You'll see the stuff your players are making and it'll inspire you to write session prep or create more materials for them to look at. Don't go overboard with the handouts. Keep them short, like a page or two. That way...
What if I had a Session Zero and you didn't meet again for another month, and then I have all the stuff from that Session Zero and utilized all of it in the same way? Is that good or bad? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Is that better or is that worse? Because then I have all that additional time that they might even be talking to me additionally. Potentially. So it's just, is it really just the fact that we're all getting together instead of playing the game, we're talking? Is that really it? Like, it's so boring. It's so boring because you're still doing that. It's just over time instead of right then. And that's the only issue. Really, again, we've covered it many a time now, this video, but the only problem these people have is that they get together without playing. That's it. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like, there were definitely times when I was running Devils and Dice where we would be like, oh boy, we're going to play. We're going to get together. It's going to be great. And then it didn't happen. And I was a little frustrated for a bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yo, I'm here, I can run the game, everybody's here, and then it just doesn't happen. And, you know, I was like, okay, fine, we'll do something else. And then, like, maybe 10 or 20 minutes later, I'm like, yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's completely fine. I don't get it.
I don't either.
I just don't get it. Maybe we're super lucky. I don't know.
It might be. Like I said, there might be bias that we have that we just have not accounted for or something. I don't know, but I just, I don't understand it.
It just always feels like they're walking in and everybody has like a quota to meet.
Yeah, exactly.
Your players will read them, but you can have there be a few different short handouts. That's
it's bad because you're not drip feeding the players. They're obviously not going to get hyped. It's not even that, right? Like that's I don't know. Like I get the joke there, but like I don't know. It's just like. It's so hard for me to grasp this because, again, you're super busy and I'm also super busy, at least in my life, to my extent. And, like, I don't know your life and how busy you really are, but I at least know mine. And I can say that even with that, I have literally squeezed in the games that we have been playing together because I want to really bad. We literally do it before this show whenever we can.
Yeah, every other week, because I can't really get every Saturday, and now, actually, Aiden has a game that's going to be taking place on the other Saturdays.
Exactly.
So, it's even better. It's even more workable now.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, and we moved it around for all of us to be able to do it together as well. Like, we want this to work, and we've been applying our schedule, or putting it into our schedules as best as we can so that we can get it to work. And that's like, it's just what we do. And again, I get it. I get that you get disappointed that you can't play and everything, but I don't know. I really don't see that there isn't any value, I guess, in not playing and hanging out and again, really talking about shit in enough that, like, even if we don't get everything, like, squared away in that limited amount of time we have together, before the next week, we can still talk, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like that's the other thing. Let's say you run session 0 and it runs long and you're not able to finish.
Yeah.
That is when the text messages come in. That's when the Discord stuff, you know, helps out a lot, because during the session 0, you've been able to talk directly with everybody. Everybody hopefully understands everything.
Yep.
And if you don't manage to finish everything, you're like, okay, well, you've got some homework to do. You know,
I guess so, yeah.
Got some homework to do, and then if you have any other questions, you can throw them my way, or you can throw them into the group chat so everybody can see the answer and stuff like that. So that way, you can continue it.
And hell, like, like, it's just the same way that it would work for any session, right? Because, like, even between us, you asked me about experience, and I'm still yet to get back to that and get that all for you. But, like, you asked me about it so that you could figure that out, and it's like the same exact thing, like, conversation that anybody would have about anything during any time, you know? Like, I don't know, it's just, I want clarification about something. Okay, I will give you clarification about something, and it's out of the session, you know, you get it all squared away, and then afterwards it's like, all right, we did it, you know? Yeah. And again, before and after the session 0, if you want to have it be a specific in-person one, you can talk, you can get things squared away with some people, you can get things not squared away, potentially, and then get everything together before you get actually playing. Like, you have the ability to utilize your time in any way that you can really, like, make it work. Like, I know that we all have our obligations and everything, so you have to work around that, but at the same time, you are in control of your life a lot of the time, as an adult. Since that was brought up, like, I have had to put things aside and do other things when we could have played, like, digital distraction streams, because I needed to do shit around my house, because it's important for me to not just let the place fall to ruin. Okay? Yes. Like,
that is a great way to describe that.
Thank you. Like,
oh my god.
That, or I'm feeling too tired, or I just want to hang out with my cats, or fuck it, I do not feel like it, you know?
Yes.
Like, it's just,
this man has let me down many a time.
I do.
I want to play a video game.
I will consistently let him down because I just don't want to.
And there are absolutely times when I am the exact same way. I say, fuck it, I'm not playing shit, I'm not interacting with anybody, I'm coming home, I'm taking a shower, I'm going to sleep.
Exactly, and we all understand that, and we can communicate that to each other, and we've known each other for long enough that there's no problems there whatsoever. Because we understand it, right?
Yes, and we're all fucking adults.
Exactly.
And we're big enough to be like, yo, I can't do this right now. I can't. I fucking learned levitation because I can't stand you right now.
Yes, exactly. Like, it goes both ways with this adult thing. You know?
Yeah.
You can be adult enough to talk about it with somebody, or you can be adult enough to schedule things in a certain way, and you can just be adult enough to understand that we're all going to have these hang-ups. And again, like I've said before many a time, like we've all said before many a time, if this works best for you, keep doing it. Great.
Yes.
Good. I'm glad you're doing it. You've been doing it for however the fuck long, 10 years or less. Who knows when you actually develop that this is how you're going to do things. But regardless, it's not something that is revolutionary. It's not reinventing the wheel. It is a session 0 in its own way. It is.
Yes. Now, I do appreciate that despite how much we're ragging on the whole concept
Yeah.
of the fact that it's like, oh, I don't do session 0, even though I totally do. It is nice that the video title is why I never do
Yes.
session 0 and not you should never do session 0 and this
Yes.
is why. Thank fucking God for that.
Exactly. And it's a clarification video on a statement that he made in some other video addressing that session zeros are not the ideal way to do things, apparently. Which that is,
Yes.
like, it's weird that the
That's good.
The title doesn't really reflect that that much, so I don't know if people would have potentially gleaned that this was coming from that, but maybe they would have, I don't know. But yes, it is good to at least address that and say and clarify that this is for this person and their group, right? Not something that somebody else needs to do. At least so far, there hasn't been any language that I have taken issue with in that way, but the implications and stuff that I have taken issue with, they are still here, right? The implications that a session 0 cannot be this same way, which is very strange. Very, very, very strange. And again, like we've said, it's really weird to have this as an opinion from somebody who's played for so long.
Yeah.
And again, it's that pitfall that people keep falling in of putting in absolutes.
Yes.
If they put in an absolute statement, it's not going to really be good for people in the hobby necessarily, right? So, I don't know. Anyway, we only got like a couple seconds. My throat is gone. Oh my god.
Slowly build up anticipation for the adventure. And that's where we'll pick it up next time. Thanks so much for watching this video.
Oh, hey.
My girlfriend and I make these videos together, and we've been blown away by the reception. It's been so much fun reading
good.
your folks' comments. We figured we could use these outros to ask a question. So, we wanted to ask what you folks think about YouTube Shorts. Is that something you'd be interested in?
No.
What kind of shorts? Other than that, if you want to see more
to be
videos
fair,
like this one,
there are
then
some
consider
good shorts.
subscribing and hitting the bell to be notified when we release new videos.
But you could
Until
also
next
just
time,
make
keep
it a quick
studying
video.
Mystic Arts.
Well, that is what a short is. It's just a video that's been put into the shorts category.
Oh, I know. So then just don't put it into the shorts category. Don't be a fucking coward. Make a short video. Don't make a short.
To be
Fuck
fair,
off.
to be fair, I will not fault people for doing it because it is like the only way to grow on this fucking platform.
It is true.
I will not say that it's a bad thing and that you shouldn't do it, right? It's just
no.
I know you're joking for sure.
I just don't like TikTok.
No, I don't either, and I don't like I don't usually like shorts. There are a couple that I've seen here and there that I've been like,
there was the one, the Oreo.
Yes,
Oreo.
That one, yes,
Oreo.
for sure.
That
So
one was
good.
excellent.
The other one that Brogan showed us a while back, if you remember, of like it was like a big anime moment, but like for like a board game or something. I don't remember what it was, but it was super good.
It was like Uno if it was an anime.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah,
I've seen that before.
Yeah, that was great. It's either Brogan or you showed it. I don't remember, but
yeah.
But it was like one of the only other ones that I've been like, this was worth my time. I really like this.
Yeah. Even though it was short, this was worth my time.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And there's been a couple here and there that I've just seen moments of that I've been like, I remember that. Okay. Eat.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yes, exactly, Timothy. I also like long form over short form for sure. Like, as if it's not perfectly obvious from the kind of content that we have produced.
Yeah. Also, I like fucking Verity. I'm against session 0 because 0 represents the concept of nothingness, which is antithetical to life. Get fucked. Anyway, Timothy, previously, I have a soft spot for pirates and seagoing stuff. That's pretty much why.
Oh, yeah.
Then I can highly recommend the RPG, 7th Sea.
Yes.
You should look into that if you're interested in a pirate-themed RPG.
Yes.
They even have ship sheets.
Yeah, it's cool.
Which is super cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I did have one other video, and I think it's like 6 minutes long. It's not that bad.
Oh.
It's the you need to run session 0, and here's why. Which is the other extreme. So I suppose, without further ado, it is. So this is you need to run session 0. Here's why from the DM Smith.
7th Sea, as in the number.
Yes.
It's made by Chaosium. It's made by the same people who make Call of Cthulhu, actually.
Yeah. True.
It's a skill-based system
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like skill-based, there you go.
There you go.
Before the first monster is slain or spell is cast, there's a critical moment in every campaign that can set the entire tone of your adventure. That moment is Session 0. Hey there, DMs and storytellers. Welcome back to my channel, where we dive into all things D&D. Today, we're going to talk about Session 0.
3 videos? You're spoiling us now. Yeah, because they were all relatively short, and yet we have gone this long on a total of like 20 minutes of content.
Yeah.
I love it. And these fucking React streamers can't fucking add more than 10 goddamn minutes.
Yeah, dude.
Absolute degenerates.
Yep.
Arguably one of the most important sessions you'll run, but most often it's overlooked. In Session 0, you're not just setting up characters, you're setting the foundation for your entire campaign. From establishing expectations and boundaries to nailing down the vibe of your world. It's the key to ensuring everyone at the table is on the same page and ready for the adventure. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to cover.
That meme is very good.
What is that from?
I have no idea. I've only
great.
seen it a few times, and I've just been like, you go so fast.
Yeah, dude.
Because they super speed it. It's so good.
Yeah, it's great.
Session 0 to set the stage for an unforgettable game.
I mean, so far, we're just going through, this is a
Yeah, this is what the Session 0 is, and this is why you should do it.
Yep.
The stuff that we espouse like every fucking 10 seconds, really.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's and again, like
not very creative. Like you'll see.
That's right. We're bankrupt. But like, I mean, the important thing to stress again is that a Session 0 doesn't necessarily need to be an in-person session that everybody's at the table and everything. It's just the communication aspect. So none of this will probably go against that, right? But the other thing that I would say, just in general, like we've said before, is that you don't need to necessarily.
Yeah.
It won't all collapse. The House of Usher will still stand, I promise. But you know, it's it is helpful.
Yes,
ultimately,
it is helpful and recommended, but not
Yes.
necessary.
Exactly.
Also, Timothy, I don't know if they still have it, but when I bought 7th Sea off of Chaosium, I got like the big super special edition, and it came with a whole bunch of extra stuff alongside game pieces and coins and the rules to play the special or the in-universe gambling game called Sweet Jenny.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you
That's
get a little
cool.
bit of actual like in-game shit. So you like, you know, when your pirate characters are into the fucking bar that can play Sweet Jenny and gamble and shit. It's great.
That's really cool.
So it's like a unique card game, specifically like a card and dice game, I want to say.
Yeah.
For that universe. And like I would, if like 20,000 years from now,
Right.
when we play that, I will totally make you guys play Sweet Jenny.
Yeah, for sure.
When players sit down at the play table, there will be a mix of new, experienced, or veteran players. But no matter how experienced the players are, each player finds joy
I like
in
how the
D&D
new
differently.
God damn it. Okay.
Yeah, so good.
I like how the new player was the wizard who's the ancient
The oldest
one,
one,
and then and then the
The
fucking
veteran
rogue,
yeah.
which is usually like the young fucking like
Exactly.
edgy anime protag
That's
guy.
right.
You know, he's like the middle-aged one.
It's very good.
That's
very
funny.
good.
Anyway, I do like them. I appreciate the memes.
Yeah,
mostly because the other video is very dry.
Yeah, true. But also, like, what's been nice so far is that they're just kind of put up there, you know, as like just the image and not with like all of the noise and everything, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't.
overdone.
You don't stop the whole video to play the meme.
Yes.
You don't stop the whole video to talk for like 30 minutes about Disney movies and shit.
Oh, I'll do that any fucking day.
Oh, I know.
But like, What I super appreciate, and usually when memes are incorporated with videos, is when they're put in with good timing, right? And a lot of the times they're used in a way that is a response to what is being said, so they are seamless in a way, like their response to whatever the person has as their previous line. So, in that case, if he had said something and then the correct response could have been okay, it would have been fine to just put that on the screen. But for like a second, but like the meme is playing out through his line until you get to that last bit, and that's when you put in the actual noise, the actual audio from that meme, right? Instead of it being, like you said, cutting away to it really, and having it play out the whole thing in the video. Super annoying.
And okay, Timothy, that's fine. But it's one that you can add to your list if you ever decide you want to try it out.
Yeah.
I've read through the book, and it's very neat. I will say though that one of the magic systems in there's multiple magic systems.
Ooh.
One of them is very strange.
Ooh.
I'll just say that.
Okay.
The other ones are fairly understandable. The other one is a little weird.
Gotcha.
But it's very cool.
All right, I'm gonna drag him back a little bit because I don't know what he was saying. I was paying more attention to the meme.
Yeah.
But no matter how experienced the players are, each player finds joy in D&D differently.
True.
So, before anything, we need to talk about what genre of game we want to play. You, as a DM, probably have a story planned. So tell your players what style of adventure you have planned. Is this story a mystery, an epic adventure, a heist, or some sort of survival game? And once this is clear, we need to talk about...
I was going to say, for some reason, I don't know if it's just because of the things that we've been watching rather recently, but it just feels like actual good video editing has become a lost art.
Yeah.
At least in the stuff that we have been paying attention to, because this is just all of these things are relevant. Every single thing has been relevant so far, and I'm super, super happy about that.
I also noticed that you didn't get flashbanged.
I did not.
So it seems like his audio mixing is also good.
Yeah, it's great. I'm having a good time.
The vibe. This, I think, is very important for your players to decide. The style of game is completely up to you, because it's your story. But this is a co-op storytelling game, so your players are the main characters. So if they're going to have the same energy as, Jack Black, then your story is now a comedy, and that's that.
Okay.
So discuss with your players about the vibe you were hoping to get out of it, and see if they're feeling the same way. This is an important stage to agree on before moving on.
I will say, I usually have a problem with this. This video is already a third of the way over. So, this is okay enough.
Yeah. And fucking, God damn it, the fucking Jack Black just made me laugh because it's fucking so stupid. And it's Jack Black and the fucking stupid looking beard. He looks awful in that fucking movie, dude.
I haven't, that's the second time that I've seen that. So I was like, oh, okay.
I want to say 7th Sea is in its... How long has 7th Sea been around? I want to say it was its 3rd edition?
I was going to say 4th, but I could be wrong there.
7th Sea. Let me see. Oh wait, no, that's the 4 latest, not 4th.
You can probably just look at the Wikipedia for it, and it'll probably say what edition it's gotten up to.
Yeah, 2nd edition.
Oh, well, excuse me.
It's only in 2nd edition.
Well, that's cool.
Yep.
Can
I put links in the chat or no?
You should be able to, because you're your channel is a mod, so you should be able to.
Let's try that.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Cool.
So that's the actual page for the shop page.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So at the top there, you can see 7th Sea printed, the PDFs, adventures, and then accessories. Accessories is the one that had the Sweet Jenny card game. It's not a card and dice game.
Cool.
Yeah, and I will tell you, if you like looking at art, holy shit, the art in that book is fucking immaculate. It's so beautiful.
What was I gonna say? There was something. So what I've been also appreciating so far is that this has not been necessarily dumbed down in a way that has been grating, I guess. Right?
This is talking to me as if I am a person with a brain.
Yes. Also, I think that it's good to note that the multiple levels of experience was brought up as well, because we joked about it a bit, but it is important to know that potentially that's something that can come up, right? Of everybody might be experienced and such, or inexperienced, but they will probably engage differently, potentially, and you need to kind of corral that and try to get it so that everybody understands what page they're going to be on together. Plus, I think what's really nice for the DM in that case for session 0, if you do have experienced players, is that they can help.
It does help.
They can help, and that's good.
I always feel a tiny bit awkward doing it, but whenever somebody has a question about vampire and you take a little bit of time to answer, and I actually know the answer, I'd like to chime in and try to help.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know if that has ever been annoying for me to chime in and help, but I do like doing that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's absolutely fine.
But yeah, having an experienced player kind of also help with questions and stuff is very helpful.
Yeah. It's very,
as long as you're not the type of DM to get kind of like frustrated at people like, interjecting.
Sure.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because if your players disagree on the tone of the game, then there will definitely be problems later in the campaign. Once the tone of the game is decided on, it is now time for you to do the favorite hobby of every DM, lore dump. Show a map of the world, a town or city they'll be starting in, and describe any interesting things they need to know for their characters to feel like locals.
Okay, I like all the weapons in the background.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw a bunch of different types.
Because there's a Master Sword, there's a Buster Sword, there is Captain America's shield. That's pretty good.
It's some good stuff.
Yeah.
There's taboo, there's a tyrannical government that has been ruling for the past 10 years, or there's a super rare race that is on the brink of extinction. These are things you want to tell your players so they feel like they are part of the world before the game even starts.
The best part is when you make a whole fucking Google Doc and you just say, here, fucking read, I guess. And then they can. And then they're as informed as they want to be.
True.
Because that's what I like doing sometimes. I'm like, hey, guess what? I have that's literally what I'm going to do when that other game that I want to do ever starts up. Because I talked to my coworker about it, and he was like, yeah, I got like some a vacation that's coming up, but after that, totally, absolutely gonna be a thing. And I was like, all right, cool. So I don't know when that's gonna happen, but what I am gonna do is go. So you want to know some stuff? I have this document. It has a lot of information on it.
Tracker Kraken.
What?
Remember, Alejo, players don't like reading or math, remember?
Oh, that's true. I forget.
That's why we have rocks to do our math.
That's right. I forgot. Damn it. I'm a horrible DM.
Indeed.
But yeah, no, it's
you learn from the worst.
I didn't learn from you, dude. Don't worry. But yeah, it's just good to have, and you can have a lot of prep stuff and absolutely giving it to them so that they can have that information and like TM gooder energy. And like I have that map and stuff that
Dungeon Master gooder, DM gooder, ATM machine.
Hate it. But yeah, it's all good stuff to put out in your session 0 or before it even, because like what I will do is give all that information before the session 0, because then they have some ideas and expectations that they could come in with, and then we can discuss it from there, because giving them the synopsis of the lore, giving them the synopsis of the lore can help with character creation, right, and ideas for characters, and so having that be something that can rattle around in their brain for however long before we actually do it is really useful, really helpful.
The best way to do this is to sit down, write a small script for yourself, and use your epic narrator voice. And once your players are getting into the world and they feel inspired, this is the time for...
True.
Most game masters have their players build their characters before the first session, but I highly recommend you build your characters together after all these things I mentioned before. I feel when the players make their characters on their own, they normally come to the table with a super goofy character, a character that doesn't fit the party, and an edgy loner.
Okay, a little pushback.
Yeah, can, but not always.
Yeah. It's definitely something that could happen for sure, but I think that once you, I mean, it really depends, right? But if you give them the idea and the tone and everything, they'll probably come up with what would fit at least enough. The thing that I would cite with creating characters together is creating a relationship between those characters, whether it be a good friendship or whether it be like a mercenary respect, something to get it so that they, or just you don't know anything about each other necessarily, right?
Yeah.
It's just something that you can all set, and then you can also have it be, and we've talked about it many a time, but you can metagame to an extent and keep that knowledge in the back of your fucking head away from everything else so that you're only focused on what's going on for your character. But you can still get into the, like, this is what I want to do with this character potentially, and maybe together, if it goes this way, my character and your character could, like, come together and really, like, work out this kind of battle plan sometimes and do these, like, weird things together potentially and, like, become, like, pretty good. And then, you're kind of thinking that might be something that you're going towards, and you might even have that be the influence that kind of gets those two characters to get to that point. But, obviously if you're fluid with it, it might not actually go that way because of story stuff potentially, or just choices in general, right? But yeah, I mean, it all clicks into place a little bit better.
Yeah.
Your character is just the Rock, Jerry. Start over.
But I wanted to play as a Rock.
but I like the Rock.
but I wanted to smell what he was cooking. I wanted to cook.
But if you make your characters together at the game table after the world introduction, they will 1. Make characters that match the style of the campaign you agreed upon in step 1. They will integrate their character into the lore of the world you laid out for them in step 2. And the best part of building their characters together is their characters will most likely already have pre-established bonds. One player will say something like, I want to play an elf, and the other will go, so do I. Let's be brothers. This is the ideal scenario for every DM. So you can skip the corny...
I also want to play an elf. Turns out, they're super gay.
Nice. Good.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Strangers meeting in a tavern trope that
God, that AI art, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You can see the fucking eyes and shit. Jesus fucking
Yeah,
whip.
that would... yeah.
Look at that. Oy.
Yeah.
All right, that's a little bit of a...
That was older AI art.
Yeah.
It's a bit better now.
You might want to update your sources there.
starts every campaign. And if your players have pre-established relationships, the party will work together in harmony instead of having that edgy lone wolf character that has to
fucked, Sasuke. Fuck off, Yuri Lowenthal.
That's right. But of course, I gotta do the pushback a little bit. You can still make that work. You just have to work to get it to work. You just got to put in the extra work as the DM.
I just really want to, it would actually be really funny to have a D&D party where everybody has gone out of their way to make the edgelord.
Yeah.
And so you have all these fucking edgelords who are all together still, but they're always like competing.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, who's the edgiest?
Yeah, that would be really funny because they're still going around doing adventures
Yeah.
and being heroic and shit,
Sure.
but they're constantly being like tsundere,
Yeah.
never accepting money, you know?
Yeah.
At one point, they're like, okay, guys, we really need to start like accepting money for these jobs. I'm fucking starving.
I can only eat rats for so long.
I can only survive on edge and fucking rage.
I was
for
gonna
so
say,
long.
I can only survive on hate and hate alone for so long.
I'm not actually the Doomslayer. God, that would be very funny.
Do everything by themselves. If you take only one thing from this video, please have your players make their characters together. I cannot stress it enough how good this is. And when the players are feeling good about their characters and they are revved up to play, we will start by have a small scene prepared for your players to round off.
I will say, okay, I gotta at least criticize the little music bits, because one, they are a little too loud, and two, they don't feel so well integrated because it's just kind of the same one over and over and over again, and it's cut off pretty weirdly. Like, as somebody who literally makes loops of the audio of the music that I use in Vampire, because I like making loops. It's just I've done it for a long time. Actually,
Same.
It's very fun.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just
Very satisfying.
Yeah, for sure. Once you get that right moment, hell, if any
dude, when you get a perfect loop,
yeah,
dude, because I'll find songs in games that I love, and it's like, oh, this is only a 2-minute version. Give me like 10 minutes, I'll make it an hour.
Exactly,
bitch.
right? Like,
You know?
I literally made and uploaded the Brawl theme from not from Super Smash Brothers, but from Dungeons of Dreadmore, back in the day, way back in the day when I first got it, because I was like, oh, this is good. I'm just gonna make a 10-hour version, and then I did.
Nice,
because it's
and
good.
then it got taken down.
No, I never did. It's still on my channel, actually.
Nice.
To this day. Never had anything happen to it. But yeah, so like, yeah, so I don't know, making something custom for those little bits is, I know it's work, but like, it is nice, you know? Yeah, and also it is kind of jarring. It's like silence and then tavern music, yeah, for sure. Without an ambient background track that is maybe that track on loop, and then it just kind of fades in as the louder section and then fades down again, potentially. Like, it is jarring for sure. So yeah, I mean, maybe that could be something to work on for these videos. I think this is like a month old or something.
Okay.
So like, but I don't know. The channel seems to. I mean, the channel's more successful than us, so fuck it. I don't know what I'm talking about.
We need to start doing that shit.
But I'm just saying, it's something that I noticed because I audio is important to me. It sounds weird, and it gets in my head.
Yeah.
Off session 0 to get them excited for the rest of the game. It might be hard to plan this scene beforehand due to the characters not being made yet, but you can plan a scene.
Actually, there might be a background audio track, but it's so faint that I can't
even hear it.
I think I heard
my
like
audio set so fucking low that even the tavern music isn't very loud to me.
Oh, fair enough. I think I heard like a harp string here and there, maybe, but that could also be my mind playing tricks on me now, because it's like there's something there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I said I talked about it, therefore it has to be real.
Exactly.
That will be the same in any location. Let's say, for example, my campaign is an evil necromancer storyline. I would write the start of my story is someone comes up to the party and his chest explodes alien style. His body turns into a skeleton and attacks the party.
Cool.
The party has to defeat the skeleton and investigate the body.
I've never
seen that
find
rare
before.
magical runes engraved on the rib cage. And that is where I would end my session 0. They are now hooked and are excited for the next session. This introduction that I wrote before my players even made their characters. Now, we can put this scenario in wherever the players fit into. The players made a group of elves and gnomes in a magical forest. Then this skeleton shows up near the sacred tree. They made a band of thieves that are drinking at a shady tavern. The skeleton bursts through the front doors. This way.
Okay, I will praise the flexibility that is being on display. I think that it's important for you to also understand that, even though he's not saying it specifically, just in general for everything that you're doing, the flexibility of putting these things where they will work and belong, and potentially changing them in such certain ways is good to do, because hell, the skeleton aspect might not even work at all, potentially, depending on the characters. So you could just, change that to however you need it to, and then it might change everything about it, but you just got to be flexible with it.
Mm-hmm. You can write your intro to the story, and the players feel like their characters were made perfectly for the campaign. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more D&D videos. Happy DMing.
Okay, one other thing. I know I complain about that like, subscribe, bell thing, but when you noticed it too, right?
Yep, he waited until the end of the video.
Well, no. You noticed the sounds of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, it did 2 noises when there were 3 clicks.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
I wasn't paying enough attention.
Here.
Your intro to the story, and the players feel like their characters were made perfectly for the campaign. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more D&D videos. Happy DMing.
And it's slightly off too.
Yeah.
I just
Video 0 out of 10. Audio slightly off.
Right. No, I just there's little to really like get into, like, criticism wise about this video. There's more.
It's pretty much what we also say.
Yeah, exactly. It's more the production that I really wanted to highlight. That it's a good video. It's not bad at all in any way. And those little mistakes here and there are really nothing. It's just something that I noticed.
Yeah.
I think there's probably anything else. No. Okay, cool. Yeah. So that's the other side. Now, again, just the rhetoric of need is something that I would change. Even though in the video he never says anything about that, just is highly saying, or at least suggesting, that it's something that's very important. And again, the characters potentially being mishandled, or not mishandled, but mismatched to the setting. That's a possibility for anything, really. Because somebody might just intentionally do that, potentially, no matter what. But it's too little of a point that I find it to not have as much weight in much of the conversation in general. Except for when you're talking about inexperienced players.
Yeah.
Because then I would say, okay, yeah, those who are really inexperienced might completely, like, and I think that would be a good addition of that being the case, rather than, lumping it in with the veterans and experienced people. Because they could make something out of the tone as well, but, or not matching the tone as well, but I feel like it's less likely. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Did it.
That's good shit.
Yeah, that video is thumbs up from me. That's the DM Smith again, for those of you who want to know and would like to go check out the channel potentially. I will of course post all of the links to each of the videos in the description as usual, so please of course follow them if you want to watch them without our us going and pausing them, obviously, because it's a different experience. But I guess that's it there. Welcome to year 6, everybody. We did
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 5 years total so far, and this is our 6th. Crazy, huh?
Yeah. No way.
Yeah, man.
2019.
2019.
They're making a fucking My Hero Academia spin-off now?
Of course they are. It was
I guess
successful.
that's fair. The normal show sucks ass now.
Yeah,
So
and it was successful. So
yeah,
of course, everything's got to be a franchise, don't you know? Everything.
yeah. I mean, honestly, most anime don't really ever get a spinoff, even the super popular ones.
That is true. It's
yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, hey,
yeah.
hopefully it's better. Maybe it's closer to the beginning of the show when it was actually good.
Could be. Could be. All right, everybody. Now, there are some comments to read.
Yeah.
But I will say that after yelling about Disney, go to their channels and talk about Disney movies from the early aughts.
Yeah.
No. But so what I will say after screaming about the shit that I remember,
the Mouse House.
the House of Mouse, indeed.
Yeah.
Dude, House of Mouse, by the way. Remember House of Mouse? Like the actual cartoon?
Oh, that.
Yeah.
I've seen clips of it.
Oh,
and it
man.
looked pretty funny.
They
and good.
were great because it was Mickey and the gang. They ran a club, an actual nightclub, and they would show old classic cartoons to all the cartoon characters, and there'd be wacky hijinks that would happen here and there because they had all the cartoon characters that would interact with each other here and there.
That's cool.
It was really Goofy was a waiter.
Nice.
Mickey was the host. Minnie was the the person who made everything work. She was like the scheduler and like all that kind of stuff.
Like the manager.
Yeah, but like more than that, right? She was just like she was on top of everything. It was great.
Dang.
Fucking fuck. They all had role. I don't remember what Donald's role was, and I don't remember what Daisy's role was, but they all were like.
Don't you know Donald was the person who took orders over the phone, so that way he couldn't fucking never get it right.
Yeah. And they were all like in modern clothes and shit, and like it was fancy. It was good. I missed that shit. It was just a nice, fun way to watch old classic cartoons, you know?
Yeah, cartoons are they're pretty great.
They are. They really are. You said that you had the Looney Tunes collection, and now I want that because Looney Tunes is great. And I haven't watched.
I want to say I
Tunes in
have the
forever.
Looney Tunes Golden Collection. I want to say
Cool.
I got it on fucking eBay for like $50, and that's
Oh
it.
hell yeah, man! That's
Yeah,
awesome.
dude. It's good shit.
Man, I gotta do that because that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, man. The Looney Tunes.
Yeah, man. Anyway,
actually, sorry.
Yeah,
one
no, you're
other
good.
thing about that. One of the awesome things about it is that I want to say on either one of the DVDs or there's like a little, you know how when you buy a DVD you get like a little book in there sometimes.
Yeah.
Specifically with like collections like this, it has a list of everything.
Yeah.
They have a lot of the old like banned and uncensored episodes.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
The ones with like fucking Hitler.
I
And
remember
Stalin
that.
are
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah. Because they were they were like, oh yeah, we know that this is kind of bad, but we're not gonna like shy away from it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that
The
was
book was
respect.
like this is not what we believe anymore.
Yeah.
In the cases where this is found to be offensive, we do not believe this anymore. We do not these are no longer the views that we hold, but this is a part of our history and we're not going to erase it.
Yeah, exactly. And
It's great. I love it.
Just like, yeah, that's some respect right there. Like,
Yeah.
you don't run away from that. You say, oh yeah, and again, that's not what we believe or anything. Like, yeah, that's
This is no longer what we believe,
Man.
but this is what we did make, and we're not going to try to,
cover
forget
it up.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because if you try to fucking just cover it up, you're never gonna learn it from it and all
Mhm.
that. You know, the classic quotes and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's also really fucking hilarious when Hitler is chasing Bugs Bunny through a hallway and Bugs like whips around in like a single frame and puts on a Stalin mask and Hitler screams like a fucking housewife.
Yes.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. That's right.
That shit is great.
Yeah. Funny how you said Donald was taking orders. True, because that cartoon, we all remember that one.
Yeah. I remember that one. God damn it.
True. Anyway, I think I'm going to forego the comments this time around. So you get another week of me not, or couple weeks actually, technically, of me not reading them this time around, unfortunately. But that's because, throat hurt bad.
Yep.
But what I will do.
Damn you, Disney.
Damn you, taking another thing away from me. But what I will do, the very least that I will do, because they deserve it, because they've been doing this shit for fucking ever, is shout out our lovely table flippers who are supporting the channel every fucking month. And I'm not even going to go into all the shilling stuff. Oh my god, first time in 5 years? No. But, like, legitimately, for those of you who don't know all the other ways to support us and everything, they're in the description and all that. But, and if you really want to know, there's 208 other episodes that have some of that shit at the end. So I promise you, you'll find out. But what I will say is a big thank you goes out to our table flippers, that being all of those in tier 4, that being Draco Kraken, Rick, aka Unit Rico, and Steely. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much for supporting us for literally half a decade so far.
It's fucking
that's
crazy.
Insane, and we appreciate you. And of course, thank you goes out to Crimson Rose as well for tier 2. And thank you goes to our tier 1 contributors. Thank you so much for joining the Patreon. If you want to, you can for as little as $1 a month. You can also go onto the Ko-fi. It's the same exact shit. It's just Ko-fi in case you don't want to do Patreon for some reason. Which some people don't like Patreon. So I figured diversifying that aspect to support us that way is something that should be done. So same exact memberships and all that kind of stuff. Not memberships. Well, yes, memberships, but also benefits and all that are on there. So if you want to go over there, all the other stuff that we usually say is all in the description. So all that kind of shit. And tomorrow I'm going to try to do an editing stream for the table flippers and finally, get back into doing that, which I've neglected for a good couple of months now, because I had a lot of things that were ready, and it became cold, and my body went, hey, you like bears, right? And I went, yeah. And it went like, hey, what if you became more like one and wanted to hibernate? And I went, okay.
Sure.
I didn't really ask
Sounds
for
nice.
this, but I guess I'm doing it, so got real tired.
Yeah.
But I got a vampire video to start editing, and which won't take well, it will actually take a bit because I got to put the music in and everything. But it'll be a whole thing, and I got to get back to doing the Delta Green stuff and all that. So, regardless, thank you so much once again for joining us this evening. Hope you enjoyed, and hope you continue to enjoy. As we continue on after half a goddamn decade.
It's fucking crazy, dude.
That's right. Year 6. What else will change? I don't know. Maybe more guest people, because we're finally gonna have Juice back at the end of the month. That's cool.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Really fun?
Yeah.
Are we gonna fucking talk about?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm definitely gonna fucking tell him that he's spawned a cult, which is great. If he hasn't known already.
You could show him all the fucking memes and our Discord message with the fucking stained glass window.
He's in it. He's in the Discord, so you might have seen it already. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, that is true.
I'll
I forgot
ask.
he's in there.
But yeah. Anyway, who knows?
Yeah.
Thank you all, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.